What's up, chat? I don't have any alerts on saying who's in here or subscriptions or anything. I have not figured out how to set that up on OBS, so thanks for being in here. I would do shoutouts, but I don't know how. Oh, do I go to studio mode? No. So I had to leave Streamlabs and go to OBS because it wouldn't link my. Eh. Dude, I feel like everything I've done today has made everything worse. I had to reset like 5 overlays already. So why am I going to Streamlabs? Yeah, but it's not linked. It won't link to my YouTube for 24 hours. Damn, dude, you're right. I can't interact with anyone. Yeah, I can see the chat, but no one said anything. It's not. It's trying to get me to open Streamlabs. It's because I reset everything. Remember, I was like, I'm just gonna reset it, and you were like, don't do that. It's a bad idea, and then I did it anyway. And then lo and behold, it was actually a bad idea. So I guess you were right. Crazy concept, I guess. But I talked to you on Twitter for a while last night. What's your thoughts on AMC? So out of the gate, I think that we will likely test 50. I think we'll break to 52, which is the support from a couple days ago, which would have been Wednesday. Let me pull that up, and then I think we'll reject. So essentially, this is the first resistance that we have to break through, but then I think that we'll reject the 52 support here, or rather, it's a resistance now. And I think we'll retest 50 after we reject that, and then it's pretty much up to the market makers, I think, after that. So essentially, they're going to go for premiums, and I'm seeing more premium on the put side, but again, that can change very quickly. But because the expected move is so small, it doesn't take much money for a market maker to break it, which would trigger a gamma squeeze. I think that's a common side effect of being an ape. I think that eventually you become sexually attracted to the actual stock itself, right? Uh, you know, but only when it looks good. She's got to dress up real pretty, put on some high heels, and he's got to suit up, whatever your preference is. I'm very proud of my OBS. I hope you guys know this. It's not much, and I know it's very under par, but not much of an editing person. I think it looks great. I got a watch list. Yeah, I'm stoked. We're good to go. Oh yeah, but I won't get any alerts or anything, so appreciate you guys being here. I won't be able to shout anything out. I appreciate if anyone subscribes. But again, no alerts. I'm gonna see what your stream looks like now. Yo, what's your stream look like, Astros? What's your stream? I think I just gotta go to my. You're the only person I subscribe to. There it is. Oh, dude, my stream looks even better than yours. I'm so stoked about it. No, fuck you. Fuck you and your Mac. So, on the left here, I have a scan query which kind of pulls up stocks that are oversold on an RSI indicator, plus also in a low IV percentile state, which ideally is a good time to enter a call, but you still need to have the technical analysis background to understand if this is the dip or if you're catching a falling knife. Essentially, all the China stocks are popping up on here today, which is pretty indicative that the major sell-off is over on those. So I'll probably go long on China stocks today. Oh, is there any way to fix the echo, or it's not going to be fixable because it's playing through our? So everything I say I hear on your stream, and everything you say I hear on. No, it's from the Discord. Oh no, it's not. It's because I'm a dumbass and I had your stream open with the volume on. I'm telling you, I'm not a techie person. Facebook. Alright. So there you go. I kind of posted that at the bottom of my stream, but essentially what you'll see is stocks like to correct in the same pattern all the fucking time. And it's a three-wave pattern. So essentially, I'll label it for you. A. Oh, you can hear me too bad, huh? Oh, I thought you meant my volume. The volume on what? Are you talking to me? What am I looking for? What do you want me to look at, bud? Oh, I almost never stray from below a 6 minute. I like to go above that always. So 6 minutes kind of like the lowest that I like to look at, just because I get caught up in the small moves if I look at smaller than that. Um, and it messes with my technical analysis too much. But yeah, no, this is remember I was talking to you about those three wave corrections we see all the time and how it kind of plays into your theories. Essentially, all the algorithms are going to trade around fib ratios, right? Because there's only really four ways you can trade, which is uh, trend lines, support and resistances, fib ratios, or patterns, right? Like everything else is, it's far and few between from there. But if you kind of understand how a bear would trade on those four things and a bull would trade on those four things, it makes a lot of sense that algorithms will trade around fib ratios. So essentially, they'll test a support and a resistance, which would be a fib or a fib ratio. And if it breaks, they'll short. And if it goes through it, they'll go long. But I think that has a lot to do with these micro movements we see. But now this is a correction. It's the three-wave correction. So A's down. You're going to measure the length of A and then do a fib retrace from the high to the low. And then B should test anywhere from the 50 to the 86 retrace range. So that'd be in this gold box here. And then wherever B ends, you're just going to draw the length of A down, and that'll kind of give you an estimation of where it should pivot. So if you can see that initial gap down and then predict your B, right, then you're already have a confirmation bias for your anticipated entry. Plus, you don't pull the trigger too early and fall for that bull trap. Yeah, stocks. move in that direction like all the time. And it's fractal, so you'll see it on multiple time frames too. So let's look at this big correction back in January. It'll be the same thing, even though it's showing you 4 hours the data rather than 6 minutes. So you'll go from your high, which was 27, down to the first low, which was right here, right? And then just to get the length of that, draw a trend line from the top to the bottom, and then just move it. But so that's your A, and you're expecting B to pivot in that zone, the 85 to the 50. So you see a major correction, you're like, hey, that's a bull trap. So you anticipate that this won't be good. Lo and behold, it's not good. It corrects. Then you know, hey, let's draw my trend line from the top of B. And lo and behold, it pivoted exactly where we thought. Yeah, I am. So essentially, the volume is measured over days for a period of time, and then the relative volume is the volume for that specific day relative to the volume over the rest of the periods of time. So AMC, for instance, has been very low volume relative to what we saw on our big run. So every day my chart is telling me, hey, we're only getting like 30% of our average volume because it's averaging these two big volume spikes, which we saw in the bull runs, and then comparing it to these tiny little spikes, which we see in the correction state. So the relative volume in these corrective states is just tiny. Um, did that get it for you? Oh yeah, back to my 6 minute. There you go. Anticipated the pivot. It's pretty easy to do. It's probably my most common trade, for being honest. Just recognize a bullish trend, wait for a correction. What? I'm sorry, but I was not listening. I'm gonna agree because I don't want to admit that I didn't hear you again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can't multitask. Yeah, it's massive because they're letting shares hit the market. Right, and they're not just hiding it in the dark pool. Right, right. You think so? I've never looked at dark pool data in my life. I don't think it affects things that much. I think that dark. Right. So what I'm saying is, with the dark pool fibers enabled, I don't think the dark pool affects AMC that much. When they were disabled, we ran from 10 to 70. Uh, but with them enabled, I think it's kind of like just a factor you have to deal with. They were only disabled for like 2.5 weeks. Every single stock just went burr. It's so true. So I think 9 a.m. is going to be where we see the actual intention of the stock, just because that's when most people will be able to trade. Plus, people are actually waking up. You got to consider most of the world's not East Coast, so it's still like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. So as time goes on, volume will increase. The one thing that's never made sense to me is how AMC is just always pure volume in the morning and then just a fade off. You don't see that in other stocks like this. It's as if like every ape only buys in the morning. No, it's not. I mean, realistically, it's just not realistic. Hey, man, if I double up on the word, it means twice as much, right? Absolutely. It's a triple X. So the next thing I'm going to check now that it's the morning is the actual expected moves. So you'll go to your trade tab and it'll pull up the options chain on the left here. And then you're going to limit down to just the strike you want to see. So I only want to see the series expiring today. Um, and I don't want to see delta. I want to see open interest. So essentially there's a 0.73 ratio, which is fairly average. It's usually around zero point 0.7, so there's actually more puts than normal. And then the thing I want to see after that is what's the expected move that the market makers are giving. So if I look up here, they actually lowered it since yesterday. Yesterday it was 4.2 at close. Today it's 3.7. What does that mean? That means that they are locking the stock plus minus 3.7 points from where we open. And that's what they hedged for, and that's what they'll essentially try to keep the stock locked in. Because it's such a small range, normally on Fridays for the past, since our run to 70, the range has been like 10 or 15, which would take so much money to break the expected move that it's not reasonable. With it this small, it's very easy to trigger something like a gamma squeeze. Oh, there we go. So we're getting close to 9 o'clock, and the true intentions of the stock's gonna come out. But yeah, you could kind of just see like a corrected. So obviously we're in a little bit of a bull trend here, and like that's a corrective move. It's against the trend, right? So if you see something like that, just chart out an ABC. It's at the bottom of my stream. Super fucking easy. And look, you get entry zones. Oh, don't check your Twitter, Astros. I said don't check your Twitter. Don't do it. I was jealous of how many viewers you had, so I may have retweeted one of your tweets. It was a little, upgrade. Yeah. Oh, I should probably ask my stream. Can they hear you? Mm-hmm. No, they can't hear you. I didn't have my desktop audio on. Sorry, dude. They thought I was talking to myself for a long time.
Yeah, Wingblade. It's gonna be an interesting day. It's gonna be an interesting day. Wait until the clocks hit fucking 9 o'clock, which is in roughly 43 seconds. Yeah, I'm feeling a rippy. I'm feeling a rippy.
Same thing. So as we finish that correction here,
Oh
there's also
shit!
potential for another correction down. So you just do another retrace from the high to the low, but this time it'll be the high to this low, and then your natural resistance zone is essentially going to be. Let me clean it up. Um, right here. So you're worried here, and this is where you start to monitor your position. So if you gauge an entry, this is where I start to worry is when it starts to get back because everything's fractal. It could just do the same three-wave correction, and then it would just show up on a bigger time frame. So if I zoomed out, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. Okay, so they can hear you, but just barely. How about now?
Oh shit. Yeah, it's looking like a rippy. This looks like, yeah. Uh, this is looking interesting. Looking very.
It kind of looks more like it's gonna double bottom.
Oh shit.
If we're being honest, I think that it retests 48.6.
Nope. Nope. We're gonna bounce off 49.
We're not at 49.
Buddy, I will make a fuck on you right now.
And there she goes.
Nope. You're gonna bounce, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It gonna bounce.
I don't like that I'm gonna be right because it means that I'm gonna lose money, but I'm gonna be right.
Shot. Yeah, no, buddy. No, I can feel it. Feel it. Hold on.
Oh, let me turn
Hold on.
my mic volume up. How's that? Can you guys hear me now?
Rigged.
It's not like I didn't tell you it was gonna happen.
Fucking rigged.
Um, I also kind of want to share this chart, but I never did because like people get pissy when you tell them something that they don't want to hear. But essentially,
Dude.
uh,
Listen, dude. Hey.
yeah, I gauged retest 40 when we rejected here,
Yeah, bro, slap the shit out of you, dude.
and we followed that trend once we
First, you took my
crossed
fucking
it,
cool, and now you're
it
gonna
became
fucking tell me I'm wrong,
support.
bitch? Okay, dude. Alright. Yeah.
Are you still talking to me?
Yeah, motherfucker, dude.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my
Dude, I will smoke beer
13,
out of
11
your ass right now,
viewers.
dude. Don't you fucking even try me, dude.
I got 11 people in here, bro.
Dude, dude, listen, I had a fucking victory royale last night. I'm feeling fucking pumped. I got some fucking G fuel in me, dog. Don't try me, dude.
You still play Fortnite? Isn't that game like for little kids?
Fuck this shit! Don't fucking go there, dude.
I played so much Fortnite. I'm just messing with you.
God damn it. What? What the fuck is that?
All right, so let us go through what's popping today.
How do I look at the quotes? Or how do I add the quotes to the
What you talking about?
like the fucking price quote? How do I add that to the gadget? I think is what they call it.
For Thinkorswim?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on Thinkorswim?
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, you were on TradingView for so long. All right, so essentially, load the workspace I shared to you, and it should pop everything up. Go to the top right settings bar, click Open Shared Items, and then from there you can copy paste the link that I sent to you in Discord, and that should just give you everything that I have on my entire workspace. $49, baby. Dude, I feel like an artist. Look at that. Such a beautiful setup. Did so good.
Dude, you're like artistic as fuck, dog.
Yeah, no, not really. You can't hear Sam? Sam, talk again.
Shut.
Um, Let me see what I need to do for that. So my desktop audio properties. I feel like you should be able to hear him.
Oh yeah, you feel?
Yeah, it's popping up when he talks. It pops up. So I'll raise his volume a little.
Oh, you don't want to do that, my friend.
No, I really don't. You say
Unless you want to lose viewers.
right.
I don't know how I have any, but yeah.
All right, so it's 9 o'clock. We're actually starting to see like an actual bid spread form where it's not 12 cents apart or 10 cents apart. Volume's going to increase, and then we should see here. I see a push back to 49. Like I said, I think that we open at 50 and test 52 pretty quick. But that is going to be followed with a rejection of 52 and then a retest of 50. If that doesn't pan out, we'll probably reject at 50 and test back down to 48.
Supposed to be a big rippy. This line in particular is a big rip. First time I'm using it, so I'm not 110% sure. I like the way it's thinking. What the fuck even is this?
Dude, I don't know what you're doing on your Thinkorswim or
I don't
why
know
your
either, but
stream
I like
quality
it.
is so bad, but you should.
What the fuck are you talking about? Bad stream quality.
It's like
Fucking
280p.
pristine.
280p, bro.
Yeah, fucking click the cog icon, you fucking dipshit.
Okay, 720. You're right. You're right
Crystal
again.
clear, pristine, fucking top fucking notch. Don't you ever fucking goddamn dare try to talk
Ah.
to me ever again. Shut! I need to fucking DoorDash some breakfast. Bad. On T minus 23.
Yo, I really can't believe the market makers lowered the expected move today. That actually blows my mind.
What do you mean?
So yesterday it closed. The expected move for the option chain expiring today was 4.2 plus minus. Today it's 3.75. They tightened it overnight, even when we had a rip in after hours, which is just not what you would think, right?
Mm.
I thought they
That
would
is
open it.
that is why I just can't fucking I can't there's no way to rationalize completely. You know, like there are no constants, none at all. Just fucking.
I mean, for every hedge fund that's short on AMC, you have to imagine that there's another that's long, right? There's so many hedge funds, and like they all just want money, and there's two valid theses, right? Like one of them saying the stock should go down, and you short when you have a thesis like that, and one saying the stock should go up, right? But eventually, the bulls will win, and this stock's gonna squeeze much like Tesla.
Is Merc now a member of MILF Squad? Merc, are you a member of MILF Squad?
Milk,
MILF.
MILF.
MILF Squad, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I don't know what that entails, but I'm gonna go with yes.
Don't even matter. Shut up! Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, you are so loud.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is that you're a part of MILF Squad, baby, and
All right, so we actually held
this
a.
is where greatness happens.
This is never mind. Well, maybe we're holding the 23 retrace. And if we hold that, we should see upside. Um, they work because the market makers essentially trade options by they're the ones selling options, right? So there's anyone can sell to open a call, right? But initially it's always a market maker who opens the position. Now, what that means is they're going to close that position, or it's going to expire worthless, or it's going to expire or it's going to be exercised, right? So they like to make money. So on Fridays, they're going after premiums, which is ideally going to be the at the money and the out of money calls and puts. So that's why you always see a sharp move one way or the other on a Friday, followed by a sharp mean reversion. That's them first crushing IV on one side, right, and collecting all the premium there, and then they go for the other side. So most Fridays, there's just way too many calls. So market makers go for the call premium by shorting the stock, right? Because if the calls expire worthless, market makers get infinite profit on it. But hedge funds and everyone who trades around market makers, they know this, right? So what's different from this Friday than most Fridays is we had such a steep sell off that there's so many puts that are in the money and at the money that the market makers aren't going to trade with hedge funds today, or rather bears today. They'll trade with apes to try to capture the max amount of money, which will be on the put side. So they'll push the stock higher. And that's kind of what happened on 510, and that triggered the entire gamma squeeze that brought us to 70. And if you look at Tesla, I posted a few dates on where the same thing happened. Now, one thing I should mention is this will hit on Wednesday. So if we gap up to, say, 55 today, that would pretty much ensure a gamma squeeze, and it would trigger a massive amount of shares hitting the market on Wednesday. And that lines up with the FINRA report, which is at Wednesday of next week.
I haven't made my video on it yet. I haven't gotten the ad revenue. Shut the fuck up. That's a great thesis, though. You could be right on that one, but maybe we should look into it. Just shut the fuck up.
Mark, you're allowed to give an opinion on how high the potential of this stock is going to go. A realistic view is something that mm, that's a tough question because like I want to always stay true to everyone, but I also don't want to like get attacked. So yeah, fuck it. I think realistically you could easily hit 1,000. Anything above that's possible, but it becomes very unrealistic. Why? Because it would require every ape to continue holding, and there's two requirements for the squeeze, right? One is um, apes need to hold, right? And the other is new apes need to keep buying. So as the price rises, initially those two requirements become easier to meet, but at a certain point that no longer is the case. Take for instance GameStop. It got too expensive. People jumped to AMC. Um, they lost the second, right? They have their initial holders, but they lost the new buyers. So as the stock price gets too high, it becomes much less likely that it continues to squeeze. Because we won't continue to get the apes and there will be more and more profit takers. So realistically, I see 1,000 pretty easily, but that's like not tomorrow. It's not Wednesday. It's months.
Fucking 16 minutes and 10 seconds. Rock fucking hard. Can we just fast forward?
Yeah. So if I lower the time frame on this scan here, it'll actually show me stocks that are just kind of flying right now. So then if I change it, there's actually none, but I'm pull some of these up. So it's saying that it's oversold on an RSI. Plus, it's in a zone where it's traded for a very, very long time and it always makes a big move. So essentially, it's saying that Snapchat should gap up today. So I wouldn't be surprised if we touch 64 on Snap at open. I'll create an alert there just to see if it comes true. Uber. Whoa. So that's a gap that
It
Uber.
always does this. It always does this before open.
What, Uber?
Always. No, no. Wait, what?
AMC?
Yeah, no. There's
Oh,
always
I
like
told
a
you. I literally told you at 9 o'clock that we double bottom and then come back up.
9:15, bitch. But I respect your sentiment and
I mean,
got you.
you gotta know, bro. So the reason I knew that is because we lost momentum as we retested the initial pivot point, and when we didn't continue from here, it becomes pretty apparent that we're gonna go back to the initial support and, or the most recent support and see if it holds. Um, and that's just traders testing the waters.
Right. Higher class bum, my man. Welcome back to the shit show. We got my man's JP Merck over here, predicting the future, evidently.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah, we're here to go long on milfs and fuck some shit up. Mainly the first. Mainly the.
All right, I gotta go get coffee and water. I'll be back.
Yeah, okay, buddy. It's gonna. Well, save that. Second. Cheryl Gregory. Oh more. Wait. Would oh more if it's out of the money? What do you mean? Would what owe more or who owe more if it's out of the money? apologies for being a little behind on chat. JP Merck is a super fucking smart guy. He's got um a lot of understanding of the inner workings of the inner workings of the market, and through that, it's amazing what you can do with that knowledge. It's just that to ascertain and be able to digest it is super difficult because it's all very abstract and discrete. So I'm learning more and more guy, and he's just a fucking hell of a cat. So we're gonna have a good fucking time today. Will I lose more than my $100? I don't know. I don't know what you're putting $100 on. Not financial advice, by the way. I need some goddamn fucking breakfast. Chick-fil-A-ness it is. Is Chick-fil-A not open? I want some fellatio. Where's Chick-fil-A? There's Chick-fil-A. Goddamn fucking hash brown scrambled burrito with chicken nuggies, some Chick-fil-A sauce, and the fucking black iced coffee. That is your formula for success in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Merc Trades is, yeah, goddamn fucking right he is. No, seriously though, the guy's just fucking smart and just very, very well expressed and just, and he's a cutie sometimes. Can you please read the chart? Chart says rippy soon because it's a mild rippy. It's probably not going to be the rippy that we would hope for in the current context, but I think it is the precursor of the biggest of rippies, or a very big rippy.
Yeah, of course, John. Appreciate the sentiment. Am I self-taught? Yes, I am. I did use a bunch of free resources, which I've listed on my Twitter, but I'll post them again. Easy. Hey, easy. Hey, good girls. Come here. Hi.
Fuck, AMC's on the OTC TV? Didn't know that. Alright, Chick-fil-A is on the way. Let's fuck some shit up.
Dude, Chick-fil-A is so good.
Chick-fil-A
It's like
is
so good.
top tier. What? When did AMC? I was just looking the other day. This shit was not on OTC TV.
That really just blows my mind that they tightened the expected move today.
Doesn't that translate to more volatility, or the volatility that you would see becomes amplified because if they're tightening that
No,
projection?
they're locking the stock into a range of 3.7 plus minus. So plus minus 3.7. So that's where they don't want the stock to close any higher than 3.7 of where it opens or any lower than 3.7. So it actually creates a really tight zone, which would ideally, if they get their way, it'll make the stock less volatile today. That being said, they likely won't. Hi, girl. What? Oh, you need some post.
In the event that there was
Hey, poops.
movement that breaks out of that zone.
And this is where you'll see a shift, though. As we start to retest that support, we're not really seeing any signs that we're going to break through it. So that's going to be a go-ahead for bulls to come back in.
Goddamn right, we love Rippy. Best chicken sandwiches ever? Yeah. Fuck yeah. The Little Wolf of Wall Street. Thank you for the subscription, sir.
So it actually should correct up from here. So it'll be the opposite. It'll be an A up, and then your B will be the retrace down, and then C back. So probably end the correction in this zone, which is pretty common on high volatility stocks. That's just because there's so many bullish and bearish traders that they both have theses, right? And they'll both trade on them, and that's will make the stock volatile.
So what normally happens when you break out of those strangles, if you will?
The expected move, it triggers a gamma squeeze. So I actually posted a few days on Tesla, but I'll just show you if you pop up my stream real quick. Essentially, Tesla and GameStop are great examples of gamma squeezes all the time. What the fuck? Oh, it's because it's not what I typed. Ooh, let's go to a day. So essentially, this is a Friday that we broke the expected move, and that triggered us a move from 300 to 900. And then this was a Friday that we broke the expected move, and that triggered a move from 80 to 300. And those are gamma squeezes. And they both started with the same thing. And if you go to GameSpot, you'll see the same thing. And I'll show you on AMC in a second too. The thing you have to realize though is that those shares won't hit the market until 3 days after. So, where were we? I circled one eventually over here. Probably on a day chart. I don't see what day it is. So to pull up a calendar. So yeah, let's look at 12/22. So 12/25 was a Friday. That wasn't it. 18. All right, so that was it. So again, 3 days after, you'll see the massive volume come in, but that definitely broke an expected move there. I mean, it doesn't look that big, but that's because of this data, right? What actually happened on that Friday was the stock gapped up to 16 from 14, which is a huge move, and it closed at 15.5. So 3 days later, you'll see this massive spike in volume. And then there was a couple more on GameStop, but I think you guys get it. go. 122 was the gamma squeeze. So we broke the market maker's expected move. So this is actually, again, much bigger than you're seeing. So on 122, we went from 2 to 3.5, which is huge, right? So as that happened, 3 days later, you'll see all the calls hit the market. That's a good question. Someone asked what would happen if, as GameStop rolls out their digital NFT dividends, because he's essentially saying that short sellers are responsible for paying for dividends because they fabricated a share, right? And that's not illegal. It's not like a synthetic share. No, if you take a short position, you're essentially selling to open a share, so you have to buy to close it, right? So the company shouldn't be responsible for paying that dividend. No, the short seller would be. So his question is, would that trigger a margin call? And honestly, I don't know the answer to that. It's just not something that I count on.
Yo, JP, my man's Ryan Revis over here is asking, they tightened reins up stock today. How did you see? Yo, JP.
Yo, you cut out. You didn't finish. Someone asked what?
Okay.
Aru.
Okay, so Ryan Revis is asking, you mentioned that they tightened the reins on stock today. How did you see that information?
So I went to the trade tab in Thinkorswim, and then in the trade.
Oh shit! Market open. Let's go.
Yeah, in the trade tab you can see. So we immediately gapped down, which isn't ideal, obviously. But again, I think that we're going to test 50 and then 52 right now.
Oh, skin's spicy.
Oh. It's just so fun watching the first candle of the day. It's like no one has any fucking clue. I don't ever trade the first like 30 minutes generally, just because like it's really hard to gauge a thesis that early.
This could be really fun.
Yeah, so this isn't bad. Essentially, what we're looking for now is the after-hour supports and resistances. This was the first one we hit, and we actually went all the way down to 47 flat. So what we're looking for and hoping to see is us holding 47 flat here. And Snapchat's rising. So yeah, in the morning I'll just kind of go through my scan query, which pops up charts that I want to see, and then I pick stocks that I like. So like I like Moderna, I like Snapchat, I like American Airlines, obviously I like Apple, and these are all stocks that I'd be okay with trading. If I don't know the stock, I'm not going to trade it. And then, yeah, what I'm looking for is something like this, like a Snapchat, like. I think Snapchat will test 64.
Is this the dippy? Before the rippy?
Oh, did we hold? Should I go back to AMC?
Yeah, it's trying to bounce from 47.70.
Again, the real numbers we're looking at is the after-hour supports, because that's what the bears need to break to have any potential of turning today bearish. So when we hold that, it's going to shift hard.
Oh, shit.
There she goes.
What are you doing? What are you doing, bucko?
Mike could stand to be hotter. Mr. Will, I appreciate you. I will turn this up now. And
what
then,
you doing, Bucko?
yeah, so this is where we're going to test 50. 50 is going to be hard to break. 49.99 was the after hour high. And same thing that applied to the Bears will apply to the Bulls. For us to be bullish today, we have to break through the 49.99. And again, all the shorts are trying to close their positions right here. I mean, trying to enter into positions right here to force us down. So it's just the battle of the Bears and the Bulls, and it takes a few minutes to kind of settle. .7 expected move. That's fucking funny. Nice. That Bank of America call I entered at the end of the day is up 217%. This is a crazy open, and like, it's not looking great.
No, well, it's holding at 47.
Right. Again, the after-hour supports are pretty important, and we're holding those. So what we need though is to just blast fucking higher.
There's no way. Okay, so there's no way that there's enough selling pressure left to push it down to where they want it to be.
Well, they already did. They just crushed all the out of the money call premium.
Are they just gonna fucking hold it?
No, so they're looking to clutch premiums on both sides, right?
Right, yeah.
So, first they'll go for one side, and then they'll go for the other. All right, here she goes.
Let her rip. sales, they're trading to the 10,000th decimal place. Which is fucking insane. Absolutely fucking insane.
All right, so now that we actually have some data to work with, I'm going to switch to a 3-minute chart just because it makes more sense. And we're actually getting buy indicators here, um,
Shit. Go
which
on.
is a pretty good sign. Yeah, I think that will fly right back to 48.
XRT. What the fuck? Yeah, XRT's popping. What's going on? When Lambo? Soon. Soon.
Boom, there she goes, boys.
Don't fucking tease me. The, the downward pressure feels a lot more aggressive than here. Is it just me?
It's always more aggressive. That's why I put slap so hard.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Your mic cut out. I can't hear you.
yeah, no. It seems even more aggressive. I've watched the market open on this stock for months.
It seems more volatile, meaning it usually just has like pure downtrend, or like, it doesn't usually have this crazy back and forth.
Right. Let's check out some articles, dude.
All right, so what am I worried about when I
I'm
look
back.
at
So
this? Essentially, I'm worried that we're going to
what's my
correct
strategy?
down.
Ooh.
So essentially, we're going to have major resistance that we have to break through right in this gold box I just drew, which is the 47.8 to 48.3. So as we test that, I'm getting nervous, right? So I'm thinking, hey, maybe I sell to open some calls or blah, blah, blah. But there she goes. And back to 48.
Come on, bitch. Give Papa some rippy. Give Papa some rippy. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We just need a volume
Come on.
smack and we're going, bro.
Fucking cock slap. Come on. Yeah, they're fighting real fucking hard on this, man. Weird. Yeah, 1 million shares alone at open. The first minute of open. It's never been that high before. Something weird. Something weird's going on. Something weird's going on.
Yeah, dude, she's gonna rip.
Oh! For real, dude?
Yep.
Shit.
So
Yeah,
again,
this
if we still have to break through the 48.33 natural resistance here, but there's something funky going on with the price action. What I'm afraid of is we reject here and then we correct all the way down to like 45. But again, I don't think the market makers want that. So I don't think it'll happen.
Weird shit, dude. This is the most contended I've ever seen this thing at open. And like I was saying, with how much tighter they made the anticipated spread throughout the day, that tells me that it's like having a bull run through a china shop, and you've brought in the displays on
Yeah,
each side of that
so I'm gonna
bull.
cut you off. This is it. So, I'm closing my short calls and just letting the long ones ride here.
Shut.
Yeah, that's good. We're going.
XRT's fucking ripping, yeah? What's GME doing? GameStop a rip up too. Yeah. GameStop? Oh, shut! Oh, my. Damn it. Oh, they really don't want this up there. They really don't fucking want this up there.
Doesn't matter. It's gonna break it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. No. Don't fucking no. Zoom out, bitch. Zoom out, bitch. Come on, it's just getting good. Fuck, what I did right. I don't understand. What the fucking fuck? Wow, wow. Okay, alright, we got a front row seat, ladies and gentlemen, because we are in the fucking ass crack of this candle. I don't know how to zoom out.
I've never once traded while having a discussion with someone. Like, you lighten the mood so much. I'm like, this motherfucker better go in my head, and the next thing I hear is just saying, oh shit.
Shut! Yeah.
Hello, Rue. Hey, girl. Hi.
Dude, my XRT calls are 100%.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, no, it's odd. High up. It doesn't that much.
There she goes.
Got apples running still? Yeah, fucking V-shape. V-shape recovery, and now they're trying to fucking back down. Yeah, they really don't fucking put this thing anywhere past 49, let alone 48.
Yeah, we might test 45 here. So essentially, that was my fear. I thought that that would break us through, but they fucking rejected us. So essentially, we'll just do a high low from here to here, and then just pivot it
Hard
over.
rebounding. There's no. This is a hard rebound. Hard rebound back
And
here.
then when you pivot it over, you'll get an expected entry zone of down at 46.5. Come on, bro. Yeah, so I'm not in my long calls right now. I got out of those. And then essentially,
Who the fuck? Who the fuck?
what?
Chevrolet, stop with the fucking donate. Dude. Fucking $60 donation from me jerking my dick over theoreticals in the stock market. I love you, dog. Thank you so much.
You got a donation? That's pretty cool.
I got the best goddamn fucking viewers. Motherfucker. Milk
Ha!
Squad, baby.
That's so true, Will. He totally does sound like a dolphin.
Fuck you.
He's funny.
Fuck you, dude.
So yeah, that actually seems to hold pretty well. So we might not make it all the way down to that expected entry. But again, I like waiting to enter on things.
The only thing we're going down on is the shorts mothers. Milk Squad, baby. Hard rebound. Hard fucking rebound. Oh, somebody's buying the VIX.
I told you I wasn't actually kidding when I said there was a massive call block. Like it was huge. Someone bought a huge call block yesterday.
Okay. Interesting.
Right. So like obviously I played into the humor of what you said, but that was factual.
Huh. Actually, that's not a bad idea given everything seems to be inevitably over.
Oh, you like my setup over there? Did you get it all hooked up?
Not yet, no.
Yeah. We're probably at least testing the support of today, which is 46.64, and then likely more so down a little bit lower, like 46.3. And like that's where I would enter into the call 716 call series, not the 7-9 call series, because you don't want to trade 0 date expiration for very long.
Fucking dumb fuck with my coffee right where the door opened, not shorting DoorDash. Yeah, no, so I'm looking at the dark pool right now and I can see exactly where their ammunition is coming out. And they could be saving more for later. They could have a barrage waiting. I don't fucking know. But yeah. Oh, this is gonna get fucking real exciting.
So what you'll see in the option pricing too is it's just getting crushed right now because it's lowering the implied volatility because it's trading range bound. So the likelihood of it to make a big move to one way or another is actually getting lower because it's staying in this same range. So option pricing will get considerably cheaper here, and then the market makers will be happy because they get to collect premiums. But yeah, the stock right now should retest back to 48. I don't actually think it'll go all the way down here because we double bottomed right here, which is actually triple bottomed. So if you look at like a 3-minute is what I'm looking at right now, you can see what the fuck.
Dude, this is getting fucking interesting on the dark.
There you go. Yes, sir. Ooh, space is gonna run right here. I like how you kind of just get the gist just from looking at a stock. It's kind of cool. No. Well, yeah, you, but anyone who does enough TA. interesting. So we're kind of developing trend lines for the day too. And now that we have more data, I'll switch to a 6-minute chart. And then now that we're at more data too, I'll also turn off extended hours because I don't want to see that, and that'll give me a much cleaner chart to look at. And that's how you would do it. So your fib retracements from the A down just to see if you pivot. If you do pivot, you can use the length of A to gauge where you should start to see the momentum shift back. Assuming it wants to continue this trend, you can draw a trend line, right, of the bullish thesis, which is going to be something like that, and then extend it, and essentially that's going to be bad because it's too steep, but this won't be. So more likely it'll be this thesis. And then if we extend it to the right, you'll probably see us jump to this trend line and then start trading around it until we get to the upper end of the market maker's expected move. Oh, man, the China stocks are flying. It's kind of crazy to think that we have billionaires just competing for who's going to go to space first. Yo, Sam, where you at?
Eating, bitch. I gotta fuel this fucking success machine over here. And my coffee. I need to catch up on chat. God fucking damn. Yeah, if anybody can do a logo for Milk Squad, please reach out to me. I will pay you in AMC stock. Can you explain what you see in the dark pool data, please? Yeah. So dark pool data, essentially what you're gonna see is whenever there is a trickling of volume in the dark pool, and mind you, this is like 40. But this service, black box stocks, aggregates most of them, at least that are available. And you see a very linear move downward, almost at a perfect 45-degree angle, which is interesting. But also in the fact that you can see the patterns at which that they'll initiate buying, immediately follow it with selling, and it's waiting for opportune times to send those sell orders out to the lit exchanges, because that will amplify whatever downward pressure is already coming from that of people who are trading on the lit exchanges. But you can literally see it trickling downward, and it's in an alternate fashion, and it times itself perfectly so that the downside of the stock is being capitalized on when short sales are sent out from the dark pools. But the fucking volume is trickling, and if you look at that, no matter what time frame you're in, that's normally when you'll see what the market actually wants with stock to have happen. Because nobody's fucking selling, other than market makers and hedge funds, and the CEO of the company itself, retail owns over 80% of the float. So the fact that quote unquote 20% of the stock, let's assume, that's left to trade is capable of moving the stock 10%, 50% at a time? Yeah, no. So I'm just looking for the volume trickling, and again, it's very cyclical. You can see, you can already imagine the right here. So that puts us at about 10:30. This would run dry if it were to remain at the same rate that it's going. And then also over here, I can view the block orders, or the levels rather, at which the dark pool trades are happening at, the quant data. And then just kind of looking back. Oh shit! Yeah, we break through VWAP. That's a good sign. Based on the trading session, this is where the tug of war happens. All right. So if it's above this, shorts are hurting. If it's below this, longs are hurting. But if you look, you had all this volume happen at the open, and they could only get it down to 46.60, which, depending on how you look at it, could be where they wanted it. I've never seen. I can't think of a time I've seen AMC trade this tightly at an open, and with all of it's like pressure loading a spring.
I think that a lot of that comes down to the historical trade patterns of Fridays. It gives a lot of confidence to people who've been shorting AMC on Fridays for the past, month. They've just been crushing it, right? So I think that a lot of initial market moves that are contrary to what's normal is very back and forth, right? And that's because you get these bears who just aren't expecting to see any counter move. But someone's holding us up here. Someone with a lot of money too.
10 o'clock. See what the algo does.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Back to Chick-fil-A-ness.
important to get out of the 0 to 8 extra ones. Oh, hey guys, we made it to my Snapchat mark. Remember I said I'd hit 64? We hit 64. Jeez, everything's just slow bleeding, bro. I guess it makes sense. The whole NASDAQ is down. Not Corsair, though. Woo. Sam, you got any Corsair stuff?
The headset I'm using is actually pushing.
I like that stock a lot. They're in my Roth.
If I didn't lose all my fucking money to Theta, I would have some hope.
It's okay, dude. We'll get you back. So I think the big thing that you should recognize is that you can adapt your position without changing your thesis by doing something like selling a call on top of it when you hit an expected pivot zone. And little things like that will stop you from bleeding from theta, and they'll capture profits on the downswing too, because you can just buy to close the same position you sold to open. And like that was kind of like one of the big shifts I had when I started becoming more successful. And like it really is my strategy all the time. I enter a single leg, right? And then regardless of how the entry works, I'll pretty much turn it into a spread always. If it goes against me, I'm usually so confident in my TA that I'll be like, fuck it, I'll just enter a spread. And then as it dips down a little further and finds a new support, I'll close the long leg. Or if it goes with me, right, and it's a great entry, I'll let it run for a little bit and then I'll lock my profits in by creating a spread, which will give me more room to make more money, but it'll also protect all my profits. And that was pretty important. I went from a unilateral trader to a bilateral trader. And like once you do that, the world is your oyster. Yeah, Sam, the chat expects you to fill all silence voids, bro. I'm not the talker here. No eating allowed.
Suck your cock right now, dude. Don't fucking.
Dude, Carnival has been on this hot list for forever, man. This is Carnival actually has two different listings. One of them's Cuck, which I think is funny, and the other one's I think CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines.
You fucking think their symbol is cock?
Yeah, it's CUK. Look it up.
What?
So that's listed. It's listed two different times. One on the New York Stock Exchange and one on the London Stock Exchange. But they're the same company. And
Long on milk, short on cock.
right, and it's kind of weird. They don't trade for the same price, but they're worth the same. They each get the same shareholder vote. Blah blah blah. So it's actually just kind of a fun stock to look at. But yeah, so now I'm looking back at all the China stocks because all of them are popping up on my list over here, and they've all been shorted since. Yeah, they got shorted hard. But we're finally starting to see buy pressure come back into the market. And what you'll see is like tickers will start to go green all over the place. At the morning, it was almost exclusively red everywhere, which is a good sign. So AMC should jump onto that ship here too. And look at that. We double bottomed here. And we just need a volume punch. But yeah, the longer we trade it lower than this up here, the harder it becomes to break this resistance. So it's pretty important that we see upside pretty soon. Otherwise, the day's kind of going to be a bleed off until midday. And that's just them destroying call premium. Them being both hedge funds and market makers. So next thing I gotta go back to the trade tab and see if anything changed on the derivative chain. So now the expected move is actually smaller than it was at open. It's 3. So they're locking in the range.
Also, we're bouncing off of the simple moving average throughout the exponential moving average, which normally they will shove us right under, such that we never get above it. So the fact that we're staying above it and are literally bouncing as we speak, great. And the fucking dark pool volume is trickling like a 78-year-old's fucking urethra. Trickling with piss. This is terrible. They have nothing.
All
I'm so fucking.
I see.
It's been overdue for so long. Yeah, show that to your stream.
All I see is theta decay right now, or premium decay. They're just destroying premiums. This is. It's actually kind of beautiful. They're just making so much money every time they lock it in this range. The call and the put premiums for today just get destroyed, right? So if you're at the money or out of the money, it gets drastically worth less. So what that will do though is it'll force people to close their positions, right? Like I did this morning. So when we hit here, I mentioned that we would reject, right? And as we did, I mentioned I was selling my 7-9 series. But what I did was I entered into the 723 series and 716 series as we dipped back down. So that was me getting out of this decay here and trying to capture the arbitrage opportunity as market makers intentionally lower IV, which will mean that there's a mismatch in pricing. Sam, nothing. Stop. No more oh shits until we break 48.3. Get me excited every time I look at the stock. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, we need a new high, all right? At least,
Back here.
all right, at least 4 candles back we have to
Look
break.
at it. That's the cock and ball. That's the cock and ball. It's the cock and ball pattern. It's the cock. Look, with the stroke being at the VWAP. Have I not?
So yeah, that was the
Look at the fucking cojones on
that
this
was the
fucking
market
thing.
makers getting call premium, and now they're going for put premiums.
Fuck your premium, dude. I don't give a fuck. You got the cock and ball right here, and then you got a cock and ball within a cock and ball from the open to 945, or it could even be a triple ball scrote and and shaft and ball cock, cock and ball and triple shaft. Very.
So the next thing I'm looking for is volume because it's decreasing. Um, that's indicative of a trend change, right? So if you're in a bearish trend, but the volume's decreasing, there's less and less sellers, and eventually it'll shift to a buyer's zone. So we're trading kind of range bound, but it's definitely a little bearish. And as you see, right, like the first bar is massive volume, second bar was bullish, a little bit more. But as we're hitting this bearish trend, the volume's decreasing. And that's a good thing because it's indicative that there's less short sellers. Or maybe everything's just going to the dark pool, but Sam's your guy on that. It's not me.
All I can say is we're going correct.
If we break, so we have, yeah, this is bullish. So why do I say that? Look at the volume disparity between the candle before and this one. This one still has 3 minutes left. It's a 6-minute chart. It closes at 10:12, and it already has the same volume as the last bullish one. So or bearish candle. So watch as this volume passes this, the stock will rise.
Look, you can see the ball as clear as day. Remember, be watch your stroke.
So waiting for it.
Yeah,
Remember,
the shaft.
as soon as this volume bar passes this one, that's another bullish buy indicator, right? So these are all just bullish and bearish trading thesis that I'm kind of spitting out. And like that's what I trade around is the conjunction of both of them. That way I can kind of anticipate what's gonna happen.
Oh, look at that shaft. Oh, we're half chubbed.
So watch as we break this volume, massive buy pressure will come in. So just broke the volume. Here comes the buy pressure.
Basically, with the incoming volume, what JP's trying to say is it serves as if it were a cock ring around the cock and ball cock.
Oh, you know what? I see the cock and ball pattern.
You see the cock and ball pattern?
This is actually hilarious. I thought you were just saying random shit. Look, it's right here, guys.
Fuck you, bitch!
I'll draw a square around it. See, there's the and like a ball and another ball. I can kind of see it.
You could even call it a triple ball.
Yeah, but like I said, so as this is showing us that there's more bulls. So there it goes, right? So that's the that's the another bullish trading thesis. It's like, hey, look, we're in a downtrend, but volume's drying up, and the next big volume bar against the downtrend, right, is an indication that it's shifting. And there she goes. So I really just need to see us break past this 85 zone. So I don't even need to see us to break to the highs. I just want us to break 48.5.
stream was lagging for a second. My bad. We're good now.
Oh, your title is much better than mine.
God damn it.
I gotta change that. Oh no, I did put you in there. We're good. Again, just a natural resistance zone. So, just like the volume increase was a bullish indication, this zone right here is a bearish indication. So again, this is the trading theses colliding, right? And that's the back and forth between the two. But ultimately,
Maybe that's the friction right before you insert the
it'll
shot.
just come down to the
Right? You gotta
volume.
need to lube it up a little bit
Right, right,
before
right, right.
insertion. Before fucking me.
so, so yeah. So as the this bar is the test, right? So this bar is saying like, hey, was this good? Like, can we be bullish? And this bar is saying
Yeah,
like,
like, can we do anal?
right,
Yeah. My
exactly.
bar.
But
Yep.
more specifically, is this bar bullish? Does it mean anything? And then this following bar, what we're looking for is the volume more so than the price action, because it's going to be bearish traders because it's a resistance zone trying to push the stock down, and it's going to tell you when you look at the volume how many there are. So if there's more bulls here, then we'll continue. If there's more down pressure here, and we'll know by 3 minutes from now. So it already looks bullish. So again, the volume's just too low. So I don't think the price is what I'm looking at all. It's more the volume.
Fucking tripping, man.
Yeah, Snapchat did real well. So this morning I got a little indicator, and after hours I put a alert because I said it was gonna break 64, and we're at 64.3. It's a nice little gap
Yeah,
up.
so
Blackberry's going positive. That's surprising.
yeah, this is normally what happens. All
Um,
the class B stocks will start to go green, and then it becomes a colossal shift of all of the stocks that are draining liquidity from then start to go green, and gradually it starts to shift to being bullish again on all of these the meat stocks, quote unquote.
yeah, because
Look at
there's
the
just
MACD. Look at the MACD. You're gonna pull it up and look at how if we bounce off of the simple moving average, that's a confirmation to me that we're gonna have a strong day. Because normally the agenda of the bears is to suppress us, to keep it under, and use like a fake out breakout, such that we would bounce off of it as a ceiling rather than as a. But we're looking at it as a floor right now.
all right. So, like I was saying, volume's what we're looking at here, and there's not enough bearish selling volume, so the next ticker will be green. Next candle. They didn't even come close. So ironic. They need no volume to lower the stock. Probably because you get paid to open a position. All right. So, 1 second, boom, green. There she goes. No, I actually trade on a 6 minute candle.
Mr. John Henry, thank you so much for the subscription, sir.
It's all you do derivatives of 30. So I like the 3 to 6 to 9. Well, nine's not a derivative of 30, but you get my point. I want something close to like a 5 minute, a 10 minute, 15 minute, or a 30 minute, but I don't want the exact one because that's what everyone else uses, right? And I want to see a little bit of different data set. So yeah, it's still really hard for me to make a price prediction here because we're so range bound and it seems very equal. But
Oh, Jimmy's going V shape.
is it?
Yeah.
It's going up?
Yeah, it's bouncing from 187 to it's at 190 now. Up past 20.
Usually they pop up on my scan if they're
That
making
must be
moves.
on Charles Payne's show.
Oh, there she is. So yeah, so see a game just popped up on my scan. Sweet deal.
I would love to enlighten Mr. Payne about the cock and ball pattern. I think he'd be very appreciative of it.
So the natural resistance zone is actually where we are in GameStop. And then just to kind of trace out what might happen, right? Like this would be your bullish, I mean your bearish thesis would
Oh my
be,
god,
hey,
GameStop is finally cheap again. What the fuck?
yeah, dude, that's the IV getting down. So that would be the bearish trading thesis would be we go right back down to 185. Um, Bullish would be we break through, right? But it won't be a clean break. It'll reject here and then come back down. And that's how I would set up my trade plans. So essentially, if we break all the way through, I would enter long around this zone, expecting it to continue up. And if we break all the way down, I would go long in this zone. But I always like to have two trading plans. That way I can get a confirmation bias with my prediction ahead of time. So I'm not just blindly entering when it's low, right? No, I actually anticipated it's going to move from here all the way down to 185, right? And if it does, then I'll go long. Or I anticipate it'll go up to 182 and then, or 192 and back down to 190, and then I would go long, if that makes sense.
I just got some
Ho! Citibank, look at that, bro. It's just so funny, dude. It's just like people don't understand the importance of gaps. Like we gapped down on Citigroup and it was oversold, right? I had my ADX indicator, which is a trend. It's a trend support indicator, saying that hey, like we're shifting into a bull market here. And then I had all of my hot zone indicators saying like, hey, relative strength saying oversold, and it's in a low IV percentile state. So what you saw though is we gapped down, which is seen here, and then the next morning we actually gapped right back up. And then the next thing I wanted to look at was all the China stocks. So I like Baidu, Baba. Oh, geez, dude. Neg is popping off today.
Yo, the 15-minute chart's looking real spicy.
On AMC?
Yeah. You can see the line of symmetry and where we're right on schedule for the finish.
Well, the same rule is going to apply here. Until we break this.
You and you fucking rule. Yeah.
Come on, man. You need some rules in life. Like you need some rules. As soon as we break this
rules I need as one, which is I don't.
this range that we're locked into, then we can,
How about this, buddy? Listen to me, okay? I'll just lock my foot up your ass, okay? Love you, Muppet.
Ooh, Microsoft, good entry zone. Look, see, as I, yeah, and I can already tell you this is an ABC correction. Yo, what's is Churchill just like another short squeeze play?
Yeah, it's a SPAC. There's some
It's
of the
so
new
funny.
speculation
I
of
bet you my
how
mic's picking up my dog snoring behind me. All right. So
bounce. Oh, hush.
volume's drying up.
Yeah, and it is in the dark pools. I'm telling you right now, the moment that we see no volume up in the dark pools, shit's gonna get.
Um, I kind of just taught myself, and I traded for a couple years, and just looked at stock charts for a couple years, and eventually you kind of just tie the pieces together. I think, but I used a lot of free resources, which I can link if you'd like. I trade with Elliott Wave Theory. I'm not saying that there's one technical analysis that's better than others. It's just not the case. You got to find one that you like, and then stick with it until you're good at it. Um,
Cock and ball, oh boy.
right?
Yeah, it's following the trend line. That's yeah. Now they're trying to set the ceiling on the
Dude, Newegg is gonna fly next Wednesday. It's gonna be nuts. It's up 20 fucking percent today. All right, you guys ready? We'll do another one. So your A is your first high to your low. Your B will retrace anywhere in the 50 to the 84 range. So draw a little box in there. And if it shifts there, draw the length of your A from it. So to do that simply, just go boop, boop. And that puts us on Newegg. Our entry zone would be 52.9. And that's where you'd expect a bullish reversal to take place. So I'm going to actually go long on Newegg. I'm going to take this trade. Actually, no, I'm not. The IV is too high. I can't.
she gonna bounce. She gonna bounce.
And look, it hit the exact spot that you think, right? So I'm not even being a little bit sarcastic when I say the exact, right? And lo and behold, we find support. Next Wednesday is when the shares would hit because it takes 3 days. So all these calls that are in the money today, if they get exercised, you'll see the volume from them come in on Wednesday. I don't think these things are good for AMC, bro. See, like,
Visually, sure.
no,
Technically,
I think that it pulls a lot of volume away from AMC when we have other stocks going 100%.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, I totally jumped on board with Unusual Whales and stole some of his clout, but I asked permission first. He said it was fine.
yeah. The fucking quadruple bottom. be good.
Yeah, I see us hitting 46.35 right now. Friday's it's one of those tricky trading days, so you kind of got to gauge the pattern on what the um, option sellers are doing, and then once you figure that out, you can see an opportunity, right? If they're going for call premiums, then the next series of calls is going to be cheaper because they have to drop the IV in the stock price to go for this series as premiums. So it looks pretty much like they're going for call premium in the morning. Um, Now, this means that there's going to be a reversal midday to the mean, right? And this is them, now that they forced most of the people to close their calls, they'll do the same thing, but for puts. Meaning that, I'm sorry, let me explain a little better. So that means that they'll push it higher, so that way all the at the money and out of the money puts have to get sold and expire worthless, and then they make a lot of money on the premiums.
Sean, what you doing, Bucko? What you doing?
Man, watching Sam or hearing Sam talk is just fucking hilarious.
Sean!
Dude. uh, throughout the day, this scan query over here is just showing me stocks relative strength, saying oversold, implied volatility percentiles too low. So if you know anything about option pricing, it's saying nothing about what's going to happen in the future. It's saying that, hey, if the stock goes up from here, it's a good time to enter calls, right? So let us look. What the fuck is this? Probably some weed company, Grow Generation. Uh, it put out a buy alert at 9:48. So these are downs. So this is saying short this shit. But I don't really short that many stocks unless I know it's gonna go down. So those are all the downs. The hots are saying that it's risky. It might be going down here. Like, be careful. Caution's saying like, hey, good things could happen from here, and then up or buy, which we don't actually see any of right now on the smaller time frame. So when I use this one, I'm looking at a 30-minute scan, and when I use this one, I'm looking at a 4-hour scan. So in the past 4 hours, what has the buy indicators been doing? So on T-Mobile, if you look at it, it's 4 hour, right? It's very bullish. And then, yeah. So I like this scan a lot. That's all I'm saying. Apes. Yo, there's a stock named Apes. Digital. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't read. It's apps. Wow. I think the market's selling. Yeah, Sam, I think.
Other way. Other way.
I don't know, man. I did say 46.
With me, just fucking listen to Papa.
46.33. Like, it's probably going to happen.
Old Jimbo's perking up.
So again, all of these stocks that are on here, a lot of them are the China stocks, right? So Billy Baba, JD was on here earlier. All right, you get it. There was a bunch, but all the China stocks have been down like 30% plus over the past week because China essentially said, "Hey, our people do illegal shit. Don't trust them."
Wait, why are GME and AMC trading in? They're short as fuck. Wait.
Yeah, so they were definitely oversold, and they'll trade sympathetic with one another. So, like, Baba will start to go, and Billy, and then JD, and it'll kind of get on the chin. Airlines, huh? Oh my goodness, I sold a Boeing call for a loss yesterday. That's so fucking funny. I didn't even notice it get back up. So I entered the call here, right? And it gapped down on me. And I was like, shit, I was in a spread. So I sold my short leg here. And then as it came back up, I sold the long leg for a small loss. Um, just because as we started to trade flat, I didn't want to be in it anymore because it was 1 day to expiration. So I sold it for a small loss here, but I actually made money because of the short leg. But if I had held to today, that would have been pretty fucking tasty. We finally got an up signal. I have no idea about this biotech stock. I don't trade stocks I don't understand, but it's saying on the 15-minute, it's looking good. And the other thing to consider is how big of moves they're making. As an options trader, you don't want to capture like a tiny, tiny little move. You want to capture a big percent move. So that's not really an ideal stock to enter ever. Just scratch it.
So fucking hard. Yeah.
Chart alert.
There's no fucking selling pressure left. There's no way.
Yo, you keep saying that.
Yeah, fucking look.
I have been.
Then you would see that the volume.
I already told you, 46.33.
Year-old man's urethra. You fuck. No, but really though, it's volume's dwindling. Average.
So just like when you get really close to like a round number on the upside, it's very similar to the downside. If you tested a support recently, and you get close to it, it's very likely to retest that support. So as soon as you get near your first low, right, which was 46.6, you can pretty much assume that it'll test 46.6.
Snap had a dark print. 128,000 shares.
Remember I said Snap would break to 64? It broke to 64. What the fuck is this? Same company. So this is the stock we just looked at 3 minutes ago, and since then it rose from 18 to 1823. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'll move my chart to a different monitor, and that way I won't be facing away from the camera. T-Mobile is giving me another up signal here, guys. Should blast right through this and go, holy gap. Ooh, let's go BlackBerry. I'm on too small of a chart. I do not like looking at a 1 minute chart. It throws me off. I get way too excited because I don't comprehend that it's a 1 minute chart. Okay, here we go. Plug power. Just got an up signal. So plug, I'm going to enter. I like plug. The next thing I'm going to do is plan my entry. So to do that, I'll look at the options chain. So taking a look at the plug options chain, I'll click trade, and I'll go to the next week's position. I won't trade at 0 data expiration. And then I'll take a look for something with a 0.3 delta, which is the 31 call, and it's trading at 50 cents, so $50. Okay, so again, we're looking for the 0.3 delta, and I'm not going to go too far out because I don't know how bullish plug is long term with a lot of this major sell-off happening. But what I do know is that when we dip back down to support, I'm probably going long. So as I get closer to my entry, I zoom in, so I'll look at a smaller time frame. And then what I'm doing is I'm anticipating what the bears are going to do because I want to trade around them. I want to trade when they're winning. So we're getting confirmation that we should see more downside. I'm still bullish, but I'm not going to enter a call until we touch support. I'm getting bored of watching it. It didn't happen as quick as I wanted, so I'll just draw a trend line and create an alert on it. I don't like just sitting around waiting on things, but I also don't like entering out of impatience. So now I have an alert. If it crosses this, oh, I'm sorry, I have to set it differently. It's at or below. So we're testing this where we double topped, right? So top, triple topped. That's a bearish trading thesis, right? It's just a resistance line. It's a very simple bearish trading thesis. Like, hey, we bounced off this 3 times, right? It's gonna bounce again, so they'll start shorting here, and that's why you don't enter out of impatience. Is because like just zoom out a little bit. There's usually a bearish trading thesis, and that's when bears will short the stock. So as they're shorting the stock, that lowers the price and the implied volatility, and that's when you find your option entries. So again, this support here or resistance here should drive sell pressure. Hey, how's the AMC doing? Yo, Astro. Where's Sam, guys? On which one's the plug? It's pretty high because I don't get greedy and I use stop losses or spreads if it goes against me. So I don't really let losers lose, and I lock my profits into winners pretty fast. And that's just the brick by brick approach. I mean, obviously, I would have made, more money on some positions if I didn't put it into a spread, but I also would have lost more money on some positions. So essentially, that's just where my trading style lands. So, like we saw, right, we put our double top. So 1, 2, 3 triple tops. If we don't blast through here, we'll go, hey, get out of there. Sorry, my dog is eating something off a plate. So if we don't get through there, so if we don't blast through this, we'll almost immediately retest down to 28.89. So did not blast through it. Not good, right? That inspires bears, so they're going to short here. Now, as they short, right, the stocks should go down and the IV is going to drop. So that's when you want to enter your call. You just don't want to enter a call as it's running, right? Because essentially think of it like, this is a very simple way. So if you're entering a call as it hits 3 bars in a row like this, that's the trend that you're buying, right? So you don't want to buy this trajectory, right? That's saying that the stock needs to fly. And the longer it's in an uptrend, the more solidified the trajectory is. So same thing though, when you're in a downtrend, if the stock just went from 33 down to 28, right, the implied volatility is already going to be low. So now you're looking to get it extra low by waiting for a sell bar as the implied volatility is low, and this will get you a better price on your options. So the third thing I'm looking for is the trend reversal on my ADX, which happened right here. So we went from this bearish trend down to a bullish reversal. So that's your entry zone, is your arbitrage option, is wait for this to dip down to support, knowing that the bulls will come back in and knowing that that will crush the pricing on options. So you want to enter when they're crushed and then sell when they're high. So my success rate's high because I don't chase things. So notice how I wanted to get in this play, and like I wanted to get in here, and I went all the way to 29.6 from 28.9, right? And like that psychologically makes you want to buy the stock or the option, and you kind of got to get rid of that mentality. Hi, buddy. Oh, hello, other buddy. My thought process on Wish. Wish is getting a lot of love from Reddit. And it also has potential to be a massive growth stock. So my thoughts on Wish is it's not a bad position because I think that it's trading below what it should be. It's trading at like 8 times. Hey! You know better. Get over here. Roo. Good girl. So yeah, so just don't chase and wait for it. So you need to be calculated, I guess, is what I would say. All of these are popping off. What's going on? It does not like this. So same thing. We're getting a bearish trend reversal on the ADX, and then we're also getting overbought on the RSI and down signals on the hot zone. So essentially, this is saying like, hey, it's probably not that good. And just to test that, I'm going to create an alert. And if it's at or below the 16.8, we will know. So, what did we say we would hit? I think I said 43.36 or 46.36 a few times. Yeah, so I said boop, boop, there. And this is where I'll enter into AMC calls because my technical analysis is saying that the corrective state is over and that the bulls will take over. So I think that we'll see a pushback to 48 from here. So I'll go long on a call. And then as we get up to here, I'll sell a call on top of it to lock in profits. I appreciate that, Daddy. But yeah, everything I do is pretty calculated. I don't like to enter positions until I get confirmation. Oh, Astros is back. So essentially, once I get into my entry zone, then I'm comfortable going long. So as we're in this entry zone, now I'm going to start looking at the options chain. So we'll go to the trade tab. It'll pull up the chain you want to trade. So obviously, I'm not going to trade the 0 day to its expiration because that's a trap. So I'll go a week or two out and look for something at like a 0.3 delta. So that's being the 53 call here. Right.
Oh, Mike's not muted. No.
Oh, yo, you're back. Your mic is done being muted. So the 53.5 call is trading at $176. So I'm going to copy it and bring it over to a watch list, and then I'll actually pop it into here, and then I can go back to my trading tab or active trade or whatever one you want to use, and then open up another chart, and then just paste it in, right? Oops. And like this will show me the actual pricing historically of this $53 call. 53.5, and as you can see, it opened at $3, and right now it's trading for $1.75, right? Like that would suck if I bought it in here. So I try not to do that. I do sometimes, it definitely happens, especially with AMC. It's why I try not to trade AMC that much. I just really like the stock. Just really like it. But yeah, so we should very easily hold here. And then we should see our trend reversal back to 48.5 at least. Which on the options chain, that'll bring us to from 175 back up to 2.4 at least. So about a 50% gain would be that move. And that's my attempted trade, right? So the next thing I'm waiting for, right, is it to catch a floor, because it might happen immediately, but more than likely it'll chop into here and then break up. So it's still correcting down, waiting for it to catch the floor. As it does, which it's starting to do now, you can see it's getting choppier. Then I'm looking at the call pricing. Now it's trading at $1.75, and that's actually when I'm going to enter. Cool. Hello, Rue. What are you doing? Get your dirty paws off me. Good girl. Alright, so we entered a little early. It's down to 171. But again, I trust that we will revert back up from here. ABCs, baby. I don't like that. Our next support is 45.1. So an immediate bullish push is needed, or we're going to test 45.1, which obviously would not be good. But again, I know that market makers will eventually go for the put premium, and that will inevitably drive the stock price higher. So I'm not that worried, if we're being honest. Jeez, look at all these down signals. Just market makers crushing calls. Yo, Sammy. And there she goes. So now what you'll see is, because the momentum's shifting, this option pricing, as soon as we start breaking a single support, it will drastically increase because we're no longer catching a knife. We're now not trading this trajectory, right? We're trading, as soon as it gets a trend, right, we'll be trading that trajectory. So option pricing will go from considerably lower to drastically higher. And that's pretty much my trades always. I did misplug. It did continue to go up, so I'm not going to enter that. It would have been nice to enter, but it didn't ever hit my zone. So we came all the way down, 29.1, and these are like 4 or 5% changes in the $31 call expiring next week, so I just don't want to fuck with that. So AGNC just hit the mark that I put in. Where is she? Yeah. So remember I said we get these buy signals, and we're also on the ADX shifting from bullish to bearish. So I put a trend line in here to see if we'd hit it, or an alert, and we did. BP is an oil company.
BP?
Yeah. We're sorry.
Penetration, dog.
Yeah, we're sorry. That's such a good South Park episode.
Sorry. I got my nipple flaps too.
Yeah, looks like the
Oh shit! Yeah, finally.
what, AMC caught a floor again.
Yeah, 45.82, no biggie.
Right, so that $1.74 call I entered is now trading at $1.84. So essentially, that's what you'll see, is just these little. As you get more into trading options, you'll find out when you should enter. Right, it's exact opposite of what you think. It's not when the stock's flying when you want to enter. It's when the stock's not flying and doing bad. But you'll need to develop adequate technical analysis to know when a support will hold, right? Or when it's going to continue the bearish trend. So in conjunction with any sort of technical analysis, these indicators make it very visual, which I like, on both, like, hey, it's a good time to enter BP calls here. These are alerts, right? And what I'm looking for is an alert on this plus a trend shift. So as it goes from a bearish trend in the oversold to a bullish, I want to enter. As it goes from bullish to bearish in the overbought, I want to exit. So using all three in conjunction gives you a nice little set to look at and use as confirmation. And that AMC call's now up to $1.85. But yeah, so it's pretty simple to trade successfully if you just slow the fuck down. Don't enter immediately when you want to, and don't chase plays. If it doesn't enter where the zone you want to get in at, just find a different play.
It's all about technical analysis. Yeah.
So Citigroup, for instance, right now just found it's double bottoming at its support, right? Like a technical analysis stance would say, like, hey, there's a good chance that we see a bullish reversal here. Now, it's saying it's oversold on the hot zone, which, you know, not great. And it's also saying it's oversold on the ADX. So even though I'm seeing this bullish pattern, right, I don't want to enter this call because the call premiums are going to be too high. Like, sure, I might get a little bit of upside, but I'm paying so much for the call that it doesn't make sense. Now, AMC, which just tanked all week, and today, the call premium, right, it's in the oversold area. So entry zone, my anticipated range was down to 48.36. We went all the way down to 45.82. I entered at 48.36, but we reverted back as I anticipated. I'm also looking at volume. That's major bullish. So yeah, we're good. Now it's up to 190, if that makes sense. Why 0.3 delta is just the most profitable option that's realistic. So as the stock price rises, your delta will increase, but the more your delta is, the higher likelihood it's going to hit or be in the money, right? So if you have a $1 delta, your call is like very in the money, meaning it's almost it's the exact same as owning 100 shares. So if I own a $30 call in AMC, it's pretty much this. It's going to have a $1 delta or a 1% delta. So every dollar change in AMC will result in a dollar change in the AMC call, and that's what the delta ratio means. So if your delta is 0.3, if AMC goes up $1, that call will go up 30 cents. Now, what that means, though, is every time it goes up, your delta will increase because you're more likely to become in the money. So if you're buying deltas that are too far out of the money, it's just a risky position. If you're buying deltas that are too in the money, right, you're not going to have the max returns that you want. So it's kind of where I found the healthy balance, 0.3. Jerry, it is unlikely that AMC breaks 50 today, yes. I would say that we did not see so this is the trend I drew, so I think that will reject around 48.5. It's not very likely that...
Super low volume, by the way.
Right. It's not very likely that we blast through the 48. We're just going to have... Because so many people bought up here, there's just a lot of bag holders and a lot of natural resistance. That will have a hard time. It would take a lot of money, but it's definitely possible. And because the market makers move so small, I don't know. I would probably put it at like a 30% chance we break 50. Seems about right. That same call position that we entered a little while ago, we got in at 1.74. The low of the day was 1.67. So not as perfect as it could get, but pretty close, right? And that's simple, right? I posted the entire strategy at the bottom of the stream there on the left, or yeah, essentially that's it. Just find a correction after an impulse wave. So impulse up, right? Find the correction, boom, right? Draw your fib retracement as it finds its first floor. So we found from the high to the low. And then I'm measuring that distance by drawing a trend line, which is just a simple way to grab it quickly. And I'll activate that trend line. And the next time we reject, right, I'm going to put that trend line there and then draw a gold box. Now this gold box becomes my entry zone. If it hits the entry zone, I enter. If it doesn't, I don't. It's that simple. I have no idea, Thomas. I don't know what I want to do with this, so it's pretty much what everyone else wants. Pretty up in the air. So all the hot. So essentially, I think that what I see on Fridays at least is that these indicators go off in cycles. So I'll see like massive downs, right, on all of these stocks that have lots of calls, and then it'll be followed by like massive ups. And I think what that is entities like market makers who sell to open many positions, chain buying or chain selling all of the positions to get the direction they want. Otherwise, I don't know how you could make sense of, you know, 50 down signals popping up at the same time and then disappearing at the same time. And these stocks aren't, you know, related. It's not like it's GameStop and AMC. No, it's some China stocks, some Apple. It's too much of a variety to be a coincidence. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Plan on posting positions. Look, if you guys like what the information I put out, great. If not, also great. Just where we're going with everything. I thought about it for a while. I was like, do I want to go the clickbaity route and post gains and try to capture an audience like that? But then I realized that's not the audience I want. Because, no, I don't think Apple will keep running. Yes, I do think Apple will keep running. That's crazy. That's crazy. Holy fucking volume, dude. I said no before I even looked just because Apple's such a big ass stock that it's almost impossible to ever break an expected move. Um, but like that volume right there is insane. So what did we see though? We see a correction, right? So we see this big impulse. So how would I trade this if I wanted to? I will do my very simple correction strategy. It works a lot of the time. So you're going to just wait for your first support and then draw a fib retracement. So once we find a floor and revert into the bearish trend, I'll draw a fib retracement. So let's say it goes all the way down to here, which is more than likely where it will go. So if it goes down to here, then I would expect it to revert in this zone up here. And then I would just take a high-low and like put it into that zone, right? And then draw another zone. And that's just assuming that it corrects up from here. So as soon as we find a floor, though, I'll readjust everything and give you guys an accurate one. But, I mean, it's really that simple. And then just leave the chart, set an alert, and go away, right? If I set an alert in this box, guess what? Don't even have to worry about it. It'll ping me if it does enter there. So we actually found our floor right here. So I'm going to readjust everything and show you guys the new number. So it'll be boom, and then delete this. Where are we? So that's the first move. The A down was from 145.4 down to 145.05, assuming that it holds this floor. Again, until you see a floor built in an actual candle giving you bullish. Well, that's the beauty of this, right? It's like I'm not trading until I get two confirmations. One, we shift bearish where I think we will, and two, we hit my expected entry zone. So if we hold here, then my entry zone would look like this. And it does appear like we will hold here. So now to trade this, you just create an alert. And if it is at or below 144.84, I want an alert. So this is the move I see happening. and I think it'll happen in the next 20, 30 minutes, and then I would enter on at 144. So yeah, we held there. Want me to look at ATH? Yeah, I can do that. It's gonna be on my list probably. So now that I have my entries done, what I'm looking for is the retracement specifically. I like the 68 to 78 range because it seems to be the most accurate, but 50 to 84 is okay. So it would be these two blue lines is I colored them blue because that's where I visually see just quickly. I only draw the gold boxes for you guys. Is where I see it shifting, but anything from 50 right to the 84 range is acceptable. So now I just wait for the bull trap to die out. Right, this is a bull trap. This is new investors or FOMOers jumping in, not realizing that they're going to get shorted because everyone who bought up here is going to sell their position. Right, anyone who bought from here to here doesn't want to be in Apple right now. Look at Corsair. I'm long on Corsair, my friend. So I stopped out here and I re-entered down here. So traded successfully here. Profit took. Lost a lot of profits as it broke my stop range because I was long for 3 months out. And then I sold to close at my stop range. And then I re-entered here. Well, more like there. I was red yesterday at the end of the day on Corsair. Yes, Sam. Unmute your mic. So messy. Fucking stupid stocks. Fucking do not like GTT or Meta Materials anymore. What the fuck? Give me a better chart. We should retake this trend line. And then we'll probably reject for a bit right here. So I'll sell to open a call in this range. And that'll lock in my call profits. Plus give me profit for when we reject as we hit these resistances. Oh, you guys want shitty music? I could play like shitty Lo-fi or whatever it's called that doesn't have copyright stuff. Hi, Rue. Hey, buddy. So yeah, look at that. I missed my plug entry and it just popped. So that's not ideal, obviously, but that's the importance of learning from your mistakes is what I would say. I've chased enough positions to know not to chase. So if it doesn't hit my entry zone, like that's tough. It didn't hit my entry zone. Yo, someone tell Astros to unmute his mic. He needs to fill this void of silence for me. He talks a lot more. I like that. Pluggity plug. Let's go. So 11:30 on 6/11 was the time we really saw the bullish momentum. So they went for put premium, right? And then went for call premium, and then it just went bullish. They just lost control, and the apes took over. And then 3 days later, you'll see a big spike in share volume. If it triggers a gamma squeeze, which it didn't because we were in a corrective state. So the market maker's expected move in this corrective state is essentially going to be the width of this trading channel because that's how it's been bouncing. So it's very hard to break. But on 5/11, it wasn't very hard to break. Past it. So we've been shorted all week, and then why did I circle that bar? It's not even a Friday. Okay, so here we are. So we're shorted all week, and then on this Friday on 5/7 we gapped up, right? And then 1, 2, 3 days later you'll see massive. So these are the call shares hitting the market, and then that continued to push us up to 70. Yeah. Mm. I usually don't use a 3 minute unless I'm gauging an entry, but I like a 6 minute for most of the time. And then with the big thing you have to realize though is you have to respect like a 4 hour more than you respect a 6 minute chart. So like a 4 hour trend line is going to mean much more than a 6 minute trend line. Why? Because it's got infinitely more buyers and sellers on it because it's showing almost 1,000 times more data. So yeah, I like to cycle down. So starting with the bigger time frame to do like my Elliott wave theories, and then as I get down to the lower time frames, that means I'm gauging an entry. That's a rough one, boys. We had this one, I didn't take it, but again, I just don't chase shit. So look at that. We actually bounced. So I'm gonna zoom into a 6 minute. But yeah, I mean, like, it's almost stupid how often this comes true. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, you need to understand Elliott wave theory and realize, like, hey, is this the end of a major wave? Like, because you will get caught if it's not just a 3 wave correction, it's a shift into a bear market. But most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, it's a trend reversal continuation pattern. So you'll see this counter move against the trend, right? It's a correction, and it'll happen in 3 quick waves. It'll be A down, B up, C down, and the ratios are fast stochastic. Do I have something called fast stochastic on? I don't think I'm using a stochastic indicator right now, but it's similar to RSI. It's essentially telling you overbought, oversold, and it's using 2 different trend lines, 2 different moving averages. So when the smaller moving average crosses the bigger one in the buy zone down at the bottom on a stochastic, that's telling you that you're in an oversold state and that the momentum is shifting back to bullish. So you'd enter. I don't really use stochastics. I also don't really use moving averages. It's just not my style. So yeah, so here we go. As it hits your entry zone, right, you're waiting for it to find a floor in it, and then the quicker this correction happens, the quicker it's going to leave the entry. So because it happened in 12 minutes, right, because we're looking at a 6 minute chart, it's not going to stay in this zone for very long. So both distance and time should be pretty equal. So if it goes down from A, the distance it went down plus the amount of time it took to go down should be fairly equal. But yeah, as Apple hits my expected entry zone, right, and finds a little bit of a floor, then I would enter into a call if I wanted to, because I know that it should capture at least back to here, right? And then at here, I get a little nervous, so I start monitoring the position, right? And if it's going the way I want, great. If it's not, I will sell to open a call, right? If it starts to get bouncy here, instead of closing the position, I'll just create a spread. That locks your profits in, plus it gives you more upside potential, and it makes you theta neutral. So look at that, it's great. We're getting down there. So now I'm starting to look at the options chain. So I'll go to the trade tab. I'll pull up the month or day that I want to trade because it's in such a high IV state. I don't want to go very far out. I want to look at the 16s. The 16s right now are all trading 50% higher than they were yesterday. But they're actually fairly cheap still. So Apple's trading, not that expensive, honestly. So like the $48 call is what I'd look at. So I'll copy paste it over and show you guys the price action of it for today. So same thing, I'll go back to my charts and then I'll just click it into here. So yeah, it opened at 0.51 and right now it's trading at 0.8, 0.9. So obviously it's not even close to the low of the day, but that's because Apple took a very bullish run in the day. So honestly, this is a high IV spot, so it's not an ideal entry. You're already in the oversold area on your trend, and you're not looking good on any of your entries here. But then again, Apple's been oversold for like 20 years. I mean, overbought. So yeah, so this is what I mean where it doesn't make sense to me that all of these stocks at the exact same time, because this doesn't happen on any days but Fridays, would be triggering down signals. I think that this is market makers shorting the stock to collect call premiums. So all of these on a small time frame are saying that it's going down, right? So all of these are going down, and I don't think that generally happens. That one just deleted, but I don't think it generally happens if there isn't like a entity shorting them all at the same time. And which entity would have an interest in all of these positions at the same time? It's probably not a hedge fund. It's probably a market maker. Didn't Macy's go bankrupt? It was like a cent like a year ago. Yeah, it went down to $4. So Apple actually did not hit my expected entry, but if I zoom in, I actually drew it short. So I never adjusted it, so I needed to adjust it, and then look, it's literally exact. So if I had, so remember I just kind of walked away. I had more upside, so I needed to adjust my A length from the high of B, and when I did that, my entry zone would have actually been pretty perfect. And like I said, you can almost always assume if it hits this, right, that it's going to come back to the 38 retrace, because that's where you'll find your next resistance line. So nervous from here to here. If we break through here, happy. If it starts getting choppy in here, I'll sell to open a call and create a spread. Look, I have no idea if that's the best way to trade. It's just how I've been successful. But yeah, that's kind of spooky, right? I mean, it's fucking exact, guys. Like, Corsair is on the up. Snapchat's up 4%. Riot is a mining company that it gets nice big price increases every time China gets a hit, because they don't have the infrastructure that the China mining companies have for Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin becomes easier to mine, that hurts the China companies, and it increases, like Mara and Riot are the two that come to mind, because they're American block companies. So a few days ago,
Yeah, is that right? Is that right, buddy boy?
are you finally back? Did you come back?
Go on.
Dude, I needed you. I don't have it in me to continue to talk forever. All I needed was you, because you do have that capacity. Fill my void, Sam.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. No, fucking, my allergies are going crazy today.
Whatever the...
I went to go take a piss and realized I had some, like, a neti pot, for lack of a better word. So I went and used that, and, underestimated just how much fucking shit was in my stomach.
Get your paws off me. You know I don't like that. Oh, what are you doing? Huh? Need some love? Okay. You complete me, Sam. I have no idea, Kyle. If it ever becomes something that could provide a passive source of income from like ad revenue or something, maybe. But right now I'm kind of just trade full time, and like that's more of my focus than getting into streaming, just because I make money trading and I don't get anything from this. But at the same time, I know that there's just a massive void in information, because I had to learn how to trade options. And it took me fucking forever to figure it out, just because everyone was trying to sell something or just sell me alerts, right? And that doesn't help you learn. It actually just hurts you. And then you're jumping around from strategy to strategy because you can't find anything comprehensive that's free. So you're trying all these different trading strategies, never sticking with one, and you're just losing fucking money. So my take was, if I put together something comprehensive on everything I learned, that alone should just help people. And like, if that's all it does, great. If it does more than that and it turns into something passive, cool.
Huh. Just released. Fed report. Most measures of hedge fund leverage are now above their historical.
So that Apple call dipped to 0.88, and then when it hit the correction zone, and then a few minutes later, it's up to $1.02. So that's a nice little 12% increase in just a few minutes. And like, these are just little scalps you can take, and they're things I do take all the time. The big thing on that though is you have to have over 25 grand, or you'll just pattern day trade yourself to hell. If you can't get out of a position, you need to learn how to create a spread. So if you don't have the 25 grand, you need to learn that, hey, there's other options other than selling it, right, that will have the same results. So if it goes the direction I want and I don't have any trades left, if it, I have a PDT restriction, then I would just sell to open a call on top of it rather than buy to close that call, right? And that'll give you a nice little jump.
Yo, my man, JP.
Yo.
Look at GameStop. How much is that?
Oh, dude, I haven't traded GameStop for a long, long time.
Yeah, no, but just look at it.
Okay. I actually took it off my watch list when it invalidated Elliott Wave. Where are we? I just typed it in here. Okay. So, I'm bearish on GameStop. I actually had us going down to 186, which did not happen. We found a floor. And like, that's pretty awesome for the GameStop people, but they're gonna have to get through 192, which will be pretty tough. But they're doing it right now. Huh.
Yeah, I guess just look at the pattern. Yeah, look at the movements on it today. You know, it's very different.
Oh, did I miss the correction? Yeah, I missed the correction.
Whoa.
So I didn't even see this little ticker here. Let me read.
Oh, AMC. Oh, shut. Is this the correlation?
11:30.
Start going up together.
Yeah. So
the cycle.
Samuel. 11:30.
Oh, shut. What?
Midday. 11:30. That's when they'll switch sides.
Oh, shut. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Time.
Yeah, I look at 5:11. No, not 5:11. 6:11. Whatever Friday that week is. Here it is. It's it's 6:11.
Look at this.
And go to a 1 hour chart and look at 6:11, and that'll kind of break down how the morning traded, but it gapped up. So at 11:30, we found buying pressure, and then from 11:30 till close, it ran like a motherfucker.
What? But it's the exact same pattern that it looks like we're.
Yep.
I mean, like, literally.
Yep.
Reflection. Right? In fact, they overstepped right here. Makes the upside gone, baby. Fucking.
So the next thing you'll see, remember how I was talking about like how weird it is that you see just these massive downs at the same time? Well, now we're gonna see massive ups at the same exact fucking time, and this is market makers. And I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me to be anything else. And I'm pretty good at picking up on patterns.
This is very, 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 very thoughtful. Very bold. I'm saying bold. This is brother Jimbo over here.
Yeah, dude. We will likely see a break of 50. I changed my opinion. I'm now about 70% sure we see 50 being broken today, whereas I was previously 30% sure.
Hey, chat. Hey, chat. Did I not fucking call for Rippy? 11:30. Huh? Did I not? Did I not? This isn't even the Rippy. This is preamble. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been talking about for weeks now, more than a month, of how this is a part of our checklist. We see GameStop starting to just resurrect from the dead, and then AMC follows with it. It is very aggressive. So the reflection of 611 is it's a fractal, but ultimately it leads into 526. 520. Much the transitive property. See the dog humping your leg?
No, I have two dogs. They're playing with each other.
Is one dog humping the other dog's leg?
No.
Lame.
Hi, buddy.
We see the inclined whipsaws, is what they're called. Ironically, they also look like sides that that reverb. If we see that kind of pattern, right here, like, go up, looks like it's gonna dip back down, but then keep going back up. If we start seeing a lot of those patterns consistently, that is just under half of our checklist completed in a matter of 10 minutes.
So, because I like the pattern that I'm seeing, I'm going to use the previous resistance as the support. So, essentially, I think that will hold this right here at 47.1. So, this will, if I want to go long again, this is where I will add to my initial position, which we took down here, which is already trading at not much higher, just a little bit higher than what we got it at 1.74.
That resistance support you're talking about is literally where the new walk went, so it's going to be interesting.
It's just a lot of sellers, man. It's a lot of people who bought and are bag holding, right? Who don't want to be. So it creates like extra sell pressure. And so as soon as you blast through that, though, everyone's happy. Besides the Bears. Oh, look at that. Apple's taking a nice little dip. So, just like that, we entered into a bigger correction. So, this is where fractals start to mean stuff, right? Because you have to respect the bigger time frame. So, we saw a correction on a 6 minute, and now we need to recognize that that correction was extended into a larger time frame. So we go to like a 9 minute and we redo it. So if I had entered, right, I would have sold a call, right, as we started to lose momentum. I sell to open a call, and as I do that, I just re-gauge my next entry zone. So my next entry zone will be 144.73. So I'll create a little alert, and I'll walk the fuck away. yeah, stock corrections happen in this particular pattern like a freakish amount. Oh yeah, let's go into unusual whales while we're all here. He gave me permission to share his content, so I'm okay
So here we go,
with
motherfucker.
pulling out some of his feeds and like comparing them to what pops up into my scanner and showing you how I use them in conjunction if you guys would like to see that.
Jimmy's doing it. Jimmy's doing it. AMC's gonna follow. First to the V-walk. Easily can run the 48.
Okay, so I pulled up his alerts. I'm not going to show the entire feed just because I did not get permission to show that, but I did get permission to show how his alerts play into my stuff. So he just put out an alert, which was it's 15 minutes delayed, but he put out a MRO alert. Now, if I take a look at my hot zone list here, I'm looking for MRO, and it's not actually on the list. So if it's not on the list, the next thing I'll do is I'll take a look at the actual stock, and I'll see what he's seeing. So essentially we're looking 15 minutes back because that's when he announced it, and that would bring us to 11:30, which is right here. And as he announced that alert, the stock took a jump.
Get in on MRIN calls.
Why?
30-cent premiums for August. In the middle of the squeeze.
No, I don't want to.
Idiot.
I don't think so.
Not financial advice, by the way.
I don't want to because I don't know the stock, and I don't trade stocks I don't know.
Idiot.
I think that's actually the opposite.
Disciplined trading. Fuck you.
I've never heard of MRIN, so I'm not going to just put my money into it. Damn. Snapchat. So at open, if you're with me, I said, hey, we're going to hit at least 64. And I never entered a position just because I don't like over trading. And it didn't ever correct, right? Like I almost always trade right side of green. So we're not there, right? So it's not a position I took, but it's just fun to kind of gauge what stocks are going to do throughout the day. And it actually increases your ability to predict or to forecast the stock's movement. Alright, so we finally got a correction and plug, which I want. So now I'm going to wait for us to find a floor and then do a little ABC, and then I'll re-enter plug. Because I do want to get into plug. Dude, what is going on with all these short squeeze stocks? Carvana? Like what? Hey, Michael, I really appreciate that, man. That's kind of my goal is more to just kind of teach people what I've learned because it took me like a really long time to piece together a successful options trading strategy. But it all just kind of revolves around knowing what the bearish traders are trading around and then knowing where they'll profit take, right? So that depends on where a support will hold. And when you trade something like Elliott wave theory, which if you really like this correction play, I suggest you look into the Elliott wave theory because that's where it's derived from. You'll find it's just spooky how easy it is to predict stocks movements. And when you pull out the emotional attachment from stocks, it's not that hard to be successful. Look at her go, bro. That's what's up.
Oh, shit! Hear this?
Sam, you're like music, bro. I need you because I can't entertain a chat all day.
You gotta learn.
No, man, I don't want to talk that much.
Right with you.
Oh, look at that. The China stocks. I told you they were going to run today. All of them. JD, Baba. Oof. What about Baidu? Yup. Fast? Yup. Oh, man. China stocks. Gotta love it. So this should actually continue higher to... We'll probably get to this zone. And then correct.
Oh, there's a rippy coming. Oh, rippy a coming. Rippy a coming.
Roo. Roo.
Oh, boy.
So funny when your dog knows they do something wrong. Just the guilt.
Look at the cock and ball.
They're just like straight looking at the ground.
Got a little tumor hanging off at the testicles right here, but it's a cock and ball. Here's your stroke line. Shaft is about to form. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. You can even consider this the cock and ball with very lopsided testicular distribution. Either way, the shaft is coming. And so am I. Come on, bitch!
Yo, Sam.
What is it?
You like the band? Have you ever heard of the band Ghostland Observatory? Apparently, you sound exactly like the lead singer. I think you should pull up a sample for us to kind of compare.
Oh, God, fuck.
Yeah, we should see massive volume coming in any second now. The reason I say this is all of these bearish traders...
happen in the next fucking... within the next 5 minutes, and even 30 seconds, and I'm gonna fucking prepare, and preparing for the preparation of the perpendicular
And what's your logic based on?
Shit! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Come on, bitch! Let's go! Come on! Come on! Keep going! Keep going! Come on! Don't fucking stop! Don't tease me! You've been doing this shit for over fucking 3 weeks! Give me something worth having! Come on!
Oh, Sam, dude.
Come on! Up! Up! Let's go!
Again, so you see all these massive down signals coming at the same exact time. That doesn't happen on any day besides a Friday. And the reason it happens on Fridays is market makers are shorting stocks to clutch premiums. And later in the day, we'll see all up signals pop up at the exact same time, and that's them collecting put premium. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Oh, hello, other buddy. You need some love, too? No, I don't like that. You know this. So yeah, it's usually just me and my dogs trading. I've never had the audio of Sam before.
Ah, come on, bitch, fly away! Come on. Back to the wings.
Hello, buddy.
You passed the B1. You've been bouncing off of a fucking quadruple fucking top all goddamn day. You've been in a bearish decline for the past fucking 2 weeks. Time to go up.
I am also enjoying the Sam soundtrack.
Come on.
I do think I need to lower his volume a little bit because his volume has been increasing as his enthusiasm increases. But, like, I definitely like his volume when it's there and not just missing. Please, no. All right, we won't lower his volume at all. Oh, and the next...
Do it with the chorus. Do it with the chorus. Come on. Incline whipsaw.
The other
Let's go, bitch.
thing you're gonna do is as soon as you finish gauging your entry zone, just adjust your fib ratios so that it's the new high to low, and that'll give you an accurate support resistance zone. So the major support resistance zone that we need to break through is the 61 to 76 retrace, and that is almost always the case when you're coming from a correction, is that you'll find your first resistance zone will be at the 38 and your second will be at the 61. I don't really see it correct at the 50 that often. I just don't. But so we fly through the 38, so then I'm looking for this zone. So as we hit this zone, right, I'm nervous. I anticipate that the stock could correct down.
Incline whipsaw. Come on. Come on. You
Right.
can do it.
Right. So as I'm nervous because it's going to correct down, I need a trading plan, which would be to sell to open a call. And this is the other thing, and this is why I like charting options, is you can see when people go long. So right here, it was most likely people stop lossing, right, because the stock's tanking. Here was the bull trap, right? This is the B correction that I say never to buy. Like, this is, look at how many people bought this. Like, that sucks, dude. If you bought this, that sucks. So I don't ever buy that. And then this is the C, right? So it's synchronized. So as it hits C, now I entered here at 1.74, and then the rest of the world started to enter here at 1.9, right? And that's just kind of how I trade, and I almost always seem to get in before this because I anticipate the shift before them. And by no means am I saying that I'm always right. Like, I get things wrong, but
Okay, I'll be Jimmy Page. Let's go. Come on.
I'm about 60% accurate, and my rules make it so that my losses, I could be 50% accurate, and because my rules are so strict, I would crush it, right? So the fact I'm 60% accurate with strict rules and I don't trade emotionally means that, and you got to consider, right, I'm not just gauging like a support, I'm gauging when we're on this trajectory, because as you hit this trajectory, like, this is, the probability is based off of where the stock's going, right? So what you're seeing is that it thinks it's going to zero, essentially, right? Obviously it's an exaggeration, but that's what the option price is doing. And now as we shift to this trajectory, right, that's the option pricing will do the same thing. So with options, you need to catch the falling knife. Now that's risky, right? And it's also hard to do. So yeah, don't expect to be 100% accurate, but know that if you set up anticipated shifts, right, and you wait for two things of confirmation bias, your accuracy will drastically increase. Plus, you're not chasing positions. Oh, absolutely. Taking emotions out of trading is
Calm, cool, and collected.
impossible, dude. You will feel like a king some days, and the next day you will feel like the biggest piece of shit, right? And like, it took me about a year to get through that little ebb and flow of the emotional cycles of trading. Because then after a while, you like just get used to some losses. It just happens, right? Like you're trading options; they're fucking volatile. It happens. But you learn to set strict rules and take profits, and then the next thing you know, your losses are smaller and smaller, and they mean less and less, and it has less and less of an emotional toll. Again, this isn't normal. This is only something you see on Fridays. Would be massive down signals at the same time on the small hot zone area. And then midday, I anticipate it'll shift to massive buys at the same time, or ups, which would be them going for put premiums. So if you look at any of these stocks, we're going to see that we're overbought on all the indicators, right? Plus, it's telling us that we're not going to break this support. And like, as you can see, we didn't even test it, right? So a little zone. Remember, 84 is fine. Obviously, this is a little higher than I would have liked, but you can still do the same thing. Because it's okay. So then your next zone would be here, right? And this is the thesis that bears will trade around too, except for theirs will be derived off of something different, but it'll essentially put them either back to a support, right? Which would be, hey, this is a support line. This is where we started this push up, right? Or something else. Yeah, all of these stocks should be triggering, like hitting a high and rejecting off of it, plus oversold with the IV too high, so, or overbought with the IV too high. So I think that this is just market makers who sell calls anytime someone wants to buy a call. Market makers going to be one of the people who fills it. So they'll be, selling to open calls on all of the stocks in the world, essentially. And then I think that they short them as a whole. Like, this group of stocks isn't related. Like, sure, some of them are China stocks, some of them are tech, some of them are airlines, but they're not all related. So it doesn't make sense that they'd all trade sympathetic. Ooh. Ah, man, Twitter's just getting buy signal after buy signal. No.
Is that about to do it again? Oh, we go into the repeat.
So, Sam, look at the options chain. It's just getting blown up.
You know I can't fucking read.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
So the volume is just blowing up. And what you see when volume spikes at a low state is the stock reverses. And that's one of the reasons I think the derivative chain is especially important to AMC, is because the call pricing is so lucrative, meaning like you can make money on both sides, that it's bought so heavily that it's actually moving the underlying. Like, it's absurd. There's like almost more options being traded in AMC, or there was when we were running, than like most of the market combined. And like that's absurd. But
By the way, we're starting to see empty candles. Being dark pool.
Sam, I don't know what any of that means.
Yes, you do.
An empty candle?
Meaning little to no volume.
Oh, well, yeah, the volume's drying up in AMC as a whole.
Yeah. You know what that means?
Jesus Christ, dude. I don't understand how this market is not corrected in so fucking long.
Because the collateral has been put up, egregious short positions.
Oh, actually, it corrected yesterday. I just missed it.
Main financial instrument that, if it were to fall because of meme stocks going up, forcing the rest of the market to go down because of patients and defaults,
Um,
then the banks, Papa Bear,
I don't like
well,
that.
for the
That's just
stupid
too
fucking
gappy.
kids, spoiled little brats, who shorted the whole market. Those bond notes that were put up as collateral would also lose value. Fucking the banks.
I do not like that. So I don't like when stocks, especially ETFs, jump around like this. It's just really hard for me because there's so much after hour activity to actually gauge what the fuck's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, I've been saying for a long time that we needed a correction. And this is so essentially I always have like a bullish or a bearish thesis, and you'll see if you go back in time because I leave drawings for the most part. I'll kind of plan out what I think is going to happen at the start of the day, and then have a trade plan for the day. So obviously the bearish thesis won this day, but I don't generally short stocks because we're in a bull market. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Same thing as like a sell indicator. I don't ever listen to them. Oversold means nothing when the entire market is overbought, or overbought means nothing when the entire market is in a bull trend and everything's overbought. Hey Tyler, welcome in. So like with indicator usage, if you're in a bull market, you'll use your buy indicators, and if you're in a bear market, then you won't use your buy indicators. You would use your sell indicators, but you'll never use both because only one of them's gonna be accurate for you. Like, look at how many sell signals came off because it's saying, "Hey, we're fucking overbought," right? But we're in a bull market, so overbought means nothing. So none of these sell signals will really mean anything. But because we're in a bull market, look at the buy signals. Every one that's put up on this 9-minute chart here would have led to drastic returns. Now, you'll have to learn how to manage your positions, right? If you held this one for too long, like, oh fuck, right? But it would have been back by today. Yeah. All right. So we need volume in AMC or nothing will happen. I think we can get it.
Well, you ain't getting it from the dark pools, bitch!
Ugh. Yeah, so another reason you zoom out is so you can see bigger chart patterns. What do you want, huh? Hey, girl. So when you look at a bigger chart pattern, I mean, like, if you're just, familiar with patterns, like, that's a bullish engulfing, right? It ate those whole losses. What's up?
Can you go to my stream real quick and tell me what you think of this? Every level of trading today has been purchased just about equally as far as the dark pools go. Just wondering what you think of this.
Damn, dude, you got $500 in donations?
Well, that would only happen if I was fucking universal.
You are loved, my friend.
Shout out Mill Squad, bitch! And Stutter Squad, evidently. Fuck! So you see this?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. What are you talking about?
It's like it's a volume profile.
Okay.
See how every level has been bought?
I don't know what the levels mean, but sure.
No, think of it literally as a volume profile.
So what do you mean levels?
From 47.57 all the way down to 46.83. Like that's just it's all been bought.
So are you saying that's bullish?
I think. I'm just wondering if you have any.
I don't actually monitor dark pool stuff because I don't know how to conceptualize how that would affect the stock price. I don't really know enough about it.
Think of this as a standard market buy.
Right. So I don't think of it as a standard market buy because it doesn't hit the market though.
These have.
Those have hit the market?
Right, that's why they're available to BC.
Oh. Well, yeah, I just like I said, my trading thesis revolves around what I can comprehend, and it's just too much lack of information around dark pools for me to be comfortable trading around them.
Shivers, goddamn!
So we're getting to the point where these down signals are gonna all switch.
$600 in donations.
Nice, dude.
Best fucking viewers in the world. Pretty sure Shivers as well. Jimmy.
This is bullish, guys. There's no volume to back this. Obviously, we're looking at a large chart, like a 30-minute chart, but I think we're doing a correction up. So you just do the backwards of what you just did. So that would be. So let's do our fib retracement backwards, right? So we'll do, instead of high to low, we'll do low to high. And then we'd expect to see a shift in this gold zone down here. And then wherever you see that shift, you just draw another high. So, take your little trend, activate it, put it over here like so, boom! And then let me zoom out a little. And I think that will hit 49.27 in the next push. Why? Because stocks move in multiple corrections when people are trying drastically to force the price to do something. It'll just keep correcting back and forth. So, yeah, look. So, I don't know if that was, like, too much to kind of just fly through, but the same corrective pattern will work both ways. So, if you're, yeah. Cool.
Amanda C and Jimbo. The fuck you doing? Make me grab the shades. I'll grab the shades, bitch. I will the shades.
Rue, it's like the 4th time I said that. Get away from there. She's like, but you don't feed me until the end of the day, man. I'm like, bro, I don't even eat till the end of the day. You can get used to it.
Jimbo's trying to do some things. Jimbo's trying to do some stuff and things.
So yeah, let's go back to Unusual Wales' feed, because I think that'll be fun. So recently he gave out a DraftKings call. He gave that out at 11 or 12 o'clock, so it was sent at 11:45 to his crew feed. So what we'll do is we'll see if DraftKings is in our list first. It is. And then we'll go back to 11:45 when he sent out the alert, and lo and behold, the stock dipped a little bit, but it rose almost immediately after. And now, what are we looking for when we see this? Well, what does the stock do? It just corrected, right? So let's see if it did a simple ABC correction, like stocks love to fucking do. Oh, that's the wrong high. I apologize. Oh no.
What do you think about the zero DTE?
What'd you say, buddy?
What do you think of the zero DTE calls?
The 0 days to expiration calls. If you're still holding them at this point, you're trading wrong. Oh no, that doesn't make sense.
It's gonna do this for the rest of the day. If this is where we were back in May.
Right, but my point is, people who trade options, they know not to buy 0 day to expiration options at 12 p.m. Like, there's just too much risk, right? It can expire worthless, and any shift against you will just fucking crush the position. Like I'm talking any shift, right? Because it's based on time, right? And probability. So as the time becomes limited, any momentum change will have a considerable price on the option. So my advice is sell your 0 day to expirations by 10 o'clock, always. Why? Because I've lost a fuckload of money holding 0 day to expirations.
Yep.
I
Telling
think
me?
I think like everyone kind of falls for that trap for a little bit. They think that it's probable, right? And they don't consider the fact that someone's making money by making it not probable, and that someone has massive amounts of money.
Right. 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 Right.
They could force their fucking will on the stock if they want.
Nail on the head.
So back to unusual whales feeds. He just sent out an XOP alert. Um, oh, he actually put a strategy on this one. That's new. He doesn't usually do that. So this one he's saying is a short vertical spread. So he's saying that it's sold to open on XOP.
Yeah, look at the flow on
Interesting. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
ah, fucking amateur.
Gotta stay hydrated.
You're gonna drink your own piss? Is that what you're saying?
Drink my own piss because it's sterile and I like the taste.
My name's Bear Grylls. I'm out in the middle of the fight again. I've lost an entire fucking portfolio.
I think it's just so cool.
I only have a certain amount of time left. I have to drink my own piss.
Remember, I was really nervous up here, right? Because I know that there's going to be a natural resistance, right? So you create a trade plan, and as we hit there, I sold to open a call on top, create a vertical spread. Now, at this point, I can buy to close that same position for profit and put it into long, or I can just use the money I got for it and enter another long leg. Both of this will, A, hedge your loss from here and make it so you're making some money, and then B, set you up for an even nicer long leg. Or you could just hold through the whole thing, either way.
I like nice long legs. In fact, I think I have some nice long. Long. So it looks like we're setting up for another rippy. Same pattern that happened right here. And this is what we're looking for. Right? Literally same thing. Jimbo boy right here. Fucking doesn't give a fuck. I bet he's long on. See what happens when you're long on. Crush the competition. Highly contested. You can see the volume dwindling. Your MACD, you want to see that bullish convergence where the exponential moving average, which is shorter term, crosses over the belly of the simple moving average, which is longer term. And what that means in English is that because your exponential moving average measures a shorter period of time, it samples shorter periods. That means that if this crosses over, the market is stating that the demand for this is greater than that of what it was how many days prior. So an influx in demand. And of course these cocksuckers. Because Jimbo over here Jibberies is a whale, he knows. Long on legs, yes. Also, your yogurt pistol will be sick everywhere. Damn it, Ellie, 10 minutes and we're back to the little VWAP. No, because we're tightening under it. We're coiling under the VWAP. Ultimately, what you want.
Hi, buddy.
Ultimately, what you want is you don't want to like half shove your way over the VWAP. You want to have like full on, rock solid fucking girth as you go over that line. Otherwise, it's like, it doesn't make a statement. You need to make a statement by whipping that shit out and slapping it right on those cocksuckers' foreheads.
I feel like the whole chat in the whole world has this major hunch that you're an exhibitionist, Sam. How often do you just run around naked?
Less than Citadel.
Fair enough.
Look at it.
No.
You got tiny balls, but it's a cock and ball, baby.
It would say that you don't have enough gas. Like, it would say, like, hey, there's not enough usage for this. Tyler, screenshot me the problem you're having, and I'll try to help. Yeah, but essentially throughout the day, my ass just draws a bunch of boxes and trades around them.
That's what I mean. Half chub. Half chub. Half chub.
Corsair's up 2% today. It just popped. It'll reject. There's no volume. There's no volume for it to justify breaking this move. So what I see happening is that the market makers will just go. So they just crushed all the put premiums, right? So now they'll just short the stock to get some of the call premiums back. Because it's a numbers game, right? They see which side has more money.
Yo,
they go for the other.
I think the 0DTE calls on GME are. I know we're at 12.18.
Again, it's just really dumb because any move against you will be like a 50% loss. Like, I'm talking like if the stock loses uptrend. I guess, or you could just put it into next week's and sell calls for today.
I don't know. I really think this thing's going to be going the rest of the day.
Sure, but I would never advocate that to anyone ever.
No, not financial advice, but...
No, not financial advice. Just
think that,
you're already advocating something that can expire worthless.
Little.
Nope, not gonna do it. So yeah, we should start seeing all those up signals start flying in. Peloton double bottomed here, so not a bad time to go long. And look at this volume spike. Like, someone put in money. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Peloton close at, like, let's say 121.
And then look how your VWAP line, if you just have a trend line at the of where the trend is, your VWAP will naturally create the ceiling of a wedge. Better when you can use your indicators to create their own convergences than
we're pretty much locked in that expected move that they wanted.
So you follow the trend in their natural shot.
Oh, cool. We got another alert from Wales. He put out a PDD alert. So the first thing I'll do is I'll check my my list, and if I see PDD on it, then I'm thinking, hey, it's a pattern play. So PDD was indeed on the list. It had buy signals go off on Thursday, right? And today, Unusual Whales is announcing that someone else took a long fucking position in here. And it's really close to expiring. So it's $118 call expiring next week. So someone put a lot in there. So to show you, I'm going to pull up that actual call. So the 118 call, I'm looking at the volume. It's not that high. Someone must have just bought a massive order at the same time. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so he someone bought 337 of these calls at the exact same time. That's pretty crazy. And again, that would be 15 minutes ago, or rather at 12 p.m. is when he sent it. So at 12 p.m., someone bought $337, $118 calls. And then immediately the stock rose. Oh, another one popped up. There's water over there. Go get water. So he sent out 15 minutes ago. He sent out a $40.5 call expiring next week. But it's just kind of cool to see what these calls actually do to the market, right? So his alert went out 15 minutes ago. Like, the first thing I'm thinking is, what did this person see, right? If it pops up on my list, they saw something saying it's a good time to buy options. Again, this list will tell you it's a good time to buy a call. It's not going to tell you the stock's going up, right? It's telling you if the stock goes up from here, it's a really good time to go long. So we need to figure out why someone went long 15 minutes ago, right? Like, why would they spend $113,000 on a call that's I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. Why would someone spend where is it? $18,000 on a call that's 8% out of the money 1 week from expiration. Like, what are they seeing, or what do they know that I don't know, right? So what you're looking for, right, is either A, is it like in just a corrective state that you think there's a mean reversion? B, is it triggering, like the signals? No, it's not doing any of that. So that to me makes it seem like it's more of an insider knowledge position, which I don't trade on because they're not always right. Well, Viacom rips soon. I have no idea if Viacom will rip. Oh, fuck! Fuck! Unplugged keyboard. It's coffeeed on it.
Idiot.
Shit! It's dripping. It's a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Why am I dumping it on my mouse pad? I didn't think any of this through. I'm panicking. I don't have another keyboard. This is pretty, not ideal. How did music just start playing? I didn't touch anything. I'm fucking shit up, Sam.
Right. Should have bought calls on GME.
Should've bought calls on GME? Dude, it hasn't moved since you said I should buy 0-to-8 expiration calls.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, dude, I think I broke my computer. Nothing's working.
Yeah, because you didn't buy calls on GME.
Guys, my computer's not working. I need to close out everything. I'm sorry.
What?
So I spilled coffee on my keyboard, and now my entire computer is messing up.
Because your keyboard's still plugged in.
No, I unplugged it immediately. So I think it just triggered something.
Fucking
I just don't like this at all, so I'm gonna go ahead and reset my shit. I'll be back.
Idiot.
Yeah, whatever. So what do I need to do here? I need to first end my stream. Okay, I'll be back.